Oh, I was not expecting a silence there.
Yeet.
There we go.
Yes.
Mhm.
Fuck.
I feel like I'm missing something. We'll do it again. No. All right.
No,
So,
man.
who would like to recap the shit of last time?
We got our wishes from the Empyrean.
Yes.
Indeed we did.
I'm not going to go through every single one of them. Stuff is interesting. Esther met various previous wielders, originators, whatever. They were of the 4 Genasi vestiges, in some sort of dream space of sorts. A lot of character stuff. Just things like completing the boom cannon, things like spending time together, talking, preparing for peace talks coming. The morning of the day before the peace talks, Leo showed up as an emissary, talked to us, got our promise of basically diplomatic immunity while he's on the castle. Nobody's going to try to arrest him, mess with him, etc., etc. And apparently the Zodiacs are sitting there insisting that they need Aquarius back before the peace talks, or else they're not coming to the peace talks. Apparently Libra needed to do some legalese with Aquarius for beforehand.
I will say specifically, Leo did mention it came from directly Aries.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So he locks the portal behind him, but lets us see through so we can make sure that everything's going okay, and everything did not go okay. So Githophiuchus was there. They killed Aquarius for no good reason, and consumed her body or soul or something into a sword that is the opposite of essence. So that's that was that session.
Yep. As well, for recording's sake, there was a session in between for what the extra days were and what the mechanical differences were. That was done.
Yeah.
Just if anyone is watching that actually cares. So, but with that, we will start just a moment before, the night before, everything with Aquarius. As Esther goes to speak with the Lord of the Mind. You awake as usual. He's at his desk, seemingly just reading over a scroll, and kind of nods as you enter, and yes, I take it you have much to ask. Esther?
I don't think Esther's audio is...
No, possibly not. That would explain the lack of heat earlier.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a green circle that's unchanging.
Technical difficulties.
Hell yeah, brother.
Play the music.
Play the music.
Yeah, we don't have any music.
Bring on the song and dance.
Oh, hello?
Hello?
There we go.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Alright.
I did say earlier, that's why, and I also said when you said the recap, fuck you, Conrad, because breaking my heart. But anyways, on to the topic.
If I tried. Anyways.
Shut up. Before we begin to this, did Esther would have asked the party, are there any questions that you would like her to ask? This
Is there
is...
a rule book for the Zodiacs that we can pull from the library?
Huh?
Keep in mind, this is the night before.
A rule book for the Zodiacs we can pull from the library.
Technically, that'd be not Lord of the Mind, but anyways.
Yeah, I was also are there any questions that you want asked? Again, this is an open thing.
Honestly, I'd say just take it away. I've got nothing right now that's... yeah.
Nothing pertinent as...
Alright, cool. In that case, just gonna kind of look and just... I believe you said you were going to give me some answers?
Yes, but I must ask what you'd like to know first.
May I say his name here, or does that invoke the same sort of watchfulness?
I feel you'd be safest saying 13, but you may speak the name if you wish.
Well, then 13 I will stick by.
If you do wish, their personal names do not invoke displeasure.
They're comprised of 2 beings, yes?
At the moment, yes.
Has it always been those 2, or have there been others?
It started with one. The name Ophiuchus was conceived first by Gith. It was meant to be a title of power of the new controllers of the planes. Back when they did not realize that they did not have the reach that they thought they had. And originally, Ophiuchus as a name died with Gith, as he was not powerful enough to bring his long arm to fruition.
But Gith came back, did he not?
Yes, along with Zerthmon.
And the one who brought them back, it was you?
Yes. It was arguably a part of my conception, and you'll forgive me if I'm vague here, as it does involve the birth of me as a god, in a way.
I understand.
But the short of it is, part of the worship that brought me to the power that I have now was a plea to bring those back, those 2. To give them a new leader, one who could represent a bridge between the divided races of Gith.
And you came into fruition.
It was my first miracle, as someone put it. My first act as a deity.
I see why you're so partial to them then.
They are as much a part of my birth as I am a part of theirs.
Both creator and children, in a sense, a cyclical aspect.
Of a sort.
Which one is easier to provoke?
Gith, easily. He was ever the hot-headed one, but outside of battle, neither of them are fools by any means. They are cold and calculating, just in different ways. One prudish, careful. The other cunning and devastating.
Which is which, if you don't mind me asking?
Zerthmon of the Githzerai has always been wise. Used their power to strengthen the Gith, keep them connected to a plane, and keep their land together. Gith has always been the general, though of a different sect, enough so that he might as well have been a leader in his own. In fact, he functionally was. But he was not one for infrastructure, if you take my meaning.
Then, which one of these is so adamant on the plain destruction of the material? Is it both? Is it one?
It's the one thing they seem to agree on, if I had to
Destruction.
guess.
What would happen if they fell?
Peace for you.
That's not what I'm asking.
They are, at the moment, they are powerful creatures, arguably demigods, but they have not ascended, as it were.
What would happen to their people? The astral, the plane, what would occur if they were to fall?
They would go back to as they were. Their cities would return to their home planes and their home existences. The Githzerai to the abyss on their little place of peace, held together by the minds of the wiser, and the Githyanki would return to the astral plane, forever hating the mind flayers and hunting them down. No longer connected.
If they return to the astral, where do they survive now then? Where do they live now? I thought they both lived in the astral.
That is a complicated question, but one I believe I can show you better than I can tell you.
By all means.
And he takes just kind of the scroll in his hand, spreads it across the table, the desk in front of him, and you see what you recognize as a massive portal, effectively. And I don't mean like 100 feet, I mean dozens of miles across. Floating in the astral sea, on one side of it, one half of the city, on one side of it, the other, connected by this relatively smaller bridge. It's still miles across. Just this bridge sitting between those two planes.
So they reside between the astral and... What's the other side?
The abyss. They've opened a portal that does not close, does not require passage through for a teleport. It is simply a gate, a place that can be walked through.
Yet if 13 was to fall, that portal would close.
Yes.
Is there a way to keep it open without their influence?
It is possible to reopen it. But as it were, they have infrastructure reliant on them that keeps it open. And I warn you, this may not stay the same for as long.
If they were to fall, would someone have to take their place? Would another 13 be brought into power? Would the cycle just continue?
Not in the same way it has now. Someone else would come to power, but not demigods, not beings of worship, messiahs. Someone who is simply another Gith, but the Yankio would come, and probably ones with less lofty goals as to conquer the plains as a home for the Gith. But it would be someone new.
Why do they wish to invade the material? I've never been quite clear. Some say they hate those on the material, you say they want a home for the Gith. I'm confused. What is their motive? Is it a combination of such, or...?
They have united under the banner of expansion, of conquering, of letting the Zodiacs start a war that they could come in and take over.
Start a war, weaken the material plane, and then when it's weakest enough, take over.
And it would not be unreasonable for them to expect to at least leverage the elemental planes, if not take them over themselves. Yeah. You realize the Gith have only stayed as few as they are because of their homes. On the astral plane, time does not pass. For them, it has been a couple centuries since they were enslaved. For the Githzerai, it requires peace and meditation to even maintain their existence on the abyss. If their leaders do not meditate, their home is just gone into the endless chaos of the abyss. They have escaped slavery, they've escaped being test subjects. But they are just as limited as they once have been.
What if they were brought here but without the help of 13? If
Don't know.
13 was to fall, would you help me help them? I don't align myself with 13's goals. I do not. I believe that there are other options. If their people desire to survive, the plains are vast. There is a home for them somewhere that requires at least a little bit more, that does not require so much, I suppose, mental fortitude.
I could not tell you how it would end, Esther. Us deities, we have divination only insofar that another deity or another force of will that we could not perceive chooses to do otherwise. Between the folks of your island, the complications of trying to predict in relation to the astral plane, the fact that 13 is a pair of demigods in their own right who wish to be more. I could not say what would happen. I could only guess with greater intellect than you. But a much different perspective than you.
One is... Do you know how to get through to them? How to speak to them? I highly doubt they'll be attending the peace talks.
They
But
will
if-
not be attending the peace talks.
I most certainly figured, but do the Zodiacs know the true motive of 13? Do they know that the war is simply for them to conquer, that they have no interest in the Zodiacs, that they desire even a takeover of the elemental planes?
Many of the
Or-
Zodiacs see themselves as a separate entity, and 13 is a benefactor.
Yet
Aries is the primary contact. Libra is meant to be a stop on the power.
Well, I have words for Aries, but that will come. Oh, wait, this is before. Never mind. Redact!
That's okay. He can see in the future, just a little bit, so.
Yeah, it's fine. Aries is a bitch. He's a bitch anyways.
But
Oh,
Aries is the one who, well, one of the ones who have made these Zodiacs again. He as well is a conqueror by nature, but of a much less grand scale. His primary power is that of the ability to cast wish spells as a genie. And that is what he uses as leverage. That is what he uses to serve 13. With this promise of potential magic of change.
oh my god. Oh no.
Also, go ahead and roll an Arcana check for me.
No, I just realized something. A puzzle piece just fucking clicked. Oh no.
So you know that specific genies of incredible power have the ability to cast the wish spell under bound contracts, basically. They can't give them freely, they can't use it for themselves. But it can be used. That being said, once the three of them are the however many wishes that person has, the kind of standard story is the 3 wishes from the genie. That genie loses that power to do so for millennia. And loses much of the power in doing so.
Then what's the contract that 13 has with Ares?
That is knowledge I wish to give you, but is more of a complex answer than a simple conversation. It is a understanding of mutual power. That if Ares serves Ophiuchus, Ophiuchus must use one of those wishes at least to serve Ares' ends. A wish basically granted back to him.
And how many wishes has 13? I caught myself. How many wishes has 13 used?
None. Ares only has one wish to give left. He guards it jealously.
He has one wish, but somebody stole a spell that could grant that ability.
The servant of 13, yes.
Does 13 have access to this spell now through that servant?
They may eventually, but if they have, I have no sight on it. They have distanced themselves from me.
Do they know of my communication with you?
I doubt they care.
You can communicate with me. I'm presuming you can communicate with them.
Yes, well, if they wish it. You, as a mortal, I can invade your dreams. If I did not wait for you to ask of me, but that is something we gods try not to do. As beings of lesser power than I, but of greater than any mortal. It's difficult. Our dream invasions are similar to divinations of a sort. That is why we grant knowledge, usually in exchange for something, as gods. This I'm speaking to you now is because I fear what comes next. I fear of what happens if 13 completes their plans. It's not just conquering they wish anymore. Conquering is what brought them to life. This wish to be freed, translated through the citizens they now lead. Those two specifically, they're demigods. They want more. They want power, so they are not beholden to being brought back to life to the whims of the people. They want to become gods.
And do you fear what would happen if they achieved that?
I do. I am a very young god in the grand scheme of things, but a shift in deities is monumental in any age.
You don't look a day over 500 million. Sorry. Stupid joke.
That's okay. There's this hint of a smile at that.
Oh, that was set in character. Whoops. Fuck, well, we're gonna go with it. What do they need to achieve that, to become gods?
More strength from worshippers that no longer see me as their method of power.
So you wouldn't mind if 13 fell?
Not the slightest. They are wayward children. What? Anyways, they're wayward children who rebel against mortality.
Well, the last thing I saw that rebelled against mortality became a lich, and that was not fun.
The lich
Asshole.
is a simple version of what they plan to do.
Well, in that case, I'll do whatever I can. Any guidance you give me will be greatly accepted. What would be the best way to goad them into conflict?
Threaten them by the one thing they care about, their access to divinity that they could harness themselves. Though I am unable to speak the specifics, it is forbidden for God to tell mortals what creates a god, what can get you there. But I will tell you this. In the coming days there will be hardship. But seek out Mike, the Fallen. He will become a font of knowledge soon. And just know this, Esther. I'm sorry for what you will experience.
There's going to be casualties, aren't there?
There will be a great deal of pain. The future is cloudy, as there are a number of pieces falling into place, any of which could tip the balances.
Whatever happens, I hold on to my vows. To the promises I've made to my people, to my friends and my family, and to all of you. I hold on to my vows, and I will not break them.
Good. Then you already stand stronger than many. Go. Experience what comes ahead. And when you step into your new perspective, when you see Mike, remind him what your oaths are. And enjoy your freedom together. Me, you find yourself blinking. and you wake up in the morning. For all intents and purposes, we can assume the rest of the party is informed
Oh yeah.
of the conversation, but very quick in the morning, the message from Issa comes, Leo has arrived, and everything happens. And we will do a quick cut to just after we ended last session, with 13 stepping back into the portal, and
Huh?
out of sight with the sword.
You mean Ares?
Ares
sorry,
handed.
Sorry, yep, sorry.
Ares did hand Gith the sword.
Yes. So I did say right then. Okay, yeah. So with 13 being handed the sword and stepping out of sight into the portal back to wherever they were.
You bastard.
So peace was never an option to them, huh?
I've been saying that for months.
Still hope for some. Cancer.
No.
I am not throwing away cancer. Cancer cared.
Peace is still an option with the Zodiacs.
Some of them.
It was never an option with 13. 13 is not a Zodiac. He is a benefactor. The Lord of the Mind wants them dispatched as much as we do.
Well, you think Ares is all okay, sunshine and rainbows?
Oh no.
Oh, I'll deal with Ares myself.
Well, then it's not all the Zodiacs.
It's not all, but at least it's some.
And Libra?
Ares,
Libra is at best corrupt.
Libra, I don't want to speak to Libra. I
No.
will allow you to handle that.
Correction. Libra is at best ignorant on the very topic with which they are claimed to have expertise.
For the purposes of peace, he's useless.
Damn question.
Yep, good.
Is Leo still there?
Yeah, so I was going to say, so as you guys begin this discussion, furiously speaking back and forth, and for a brief moment, the other side of the portal is still. And then you hear Leo screaming, cursing Ares, cursing Libra. And Ares starts to make his way over, and Libra puts a hand up. You have no claim. They've done nothing wrong. Ares kind of looks at Libra, and you are not my keeper, old man. You are not the leader of the Zodiacs. I am. Libra shakes his head. The Zodiacs are a function of the law. You may have been able to twist and change laws to your benefit, but you cannot ignore them. Not in my home. For a moment, they just kind of look at each other, Leo fading from screaming into sobbing.
Slightly insight Leo and just see if he's being genuine with it.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna use guidance as well if I can.
Yeah, you can.
I'm attempting to contact Mistra. Ooh, damn!
30.
Okay, 36.
Oh,
I want to check
whoa.
something real quick.
Go for it. Do you want to do
Um,
it before or after the insight?
No, it's a clarification of something you said. You said Libra was screaming?
No, Leo.
Leo.
Yeah.
Leo.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And just to check, Xenia, you're checking out Leo, right?
Yes.
Um,
I can probably do one for each, like at least Leo. Can I do one for all three of them, just separate ones?
I'll say with a natural 20, total 36, you can count this for all three.
Hmm.
Libra is very carefully trying to tuck their emotions away.
Mhm.
But with Ares threatening violence, has taken a step forward that is unlike them. You can see the Vati kind of standing around him, unsettled, seemingly unused to this kind of disagreement inside of Libra's court. Leo is shattered. Leo is emotionally distraught. He is sobbing with genuine, torturous guilt. And Ares, as soon as Libra spoke against him, is just furious. Esther, go ahead and roll the 100.
Oh, fuck.
He's legit. Just like,
Ah!
35. You can feel Libra listen. You can feel Mr. listening. What are you trying to contact them with? What are you trying to ask?
You are the goddess of the weave. What do I have to give you to get there?
You have spells to get there yourself, my dear. Planar travel is access that your friends and you have. You simply must act on it, but stepping into the halls of Libra without Libra's permission is difficult. You risk losing the spell.
I don't desire conflict. I desire to remove Leo from that area. What do I have to give to get Leo here safely? Because he is in extreme danger right now, and I don't think I could handle another death. And she pulls out a piece of paper, and on it is the map of Aqua that Aquarius drew for her. I will give you this. This is the one. It's one of the only things I have for. And I will give it to you, just please. Whatever I can do to get him here safe. That Ares can't harm him in this moment. Because he will.
Okay.
I will give this to you and all of it. Just please.
I'll give you two options here, Esther. You can either make what's effectively a more difficult divine intervention roll, which is a D100. You have to get less than a 10. Or go ahead and make a mom check. No bonuses. What's your bonus stat again?
14.
Good, okay. If you can succeed a DC 30, Mistra will, attempt to intervene. Your choice which one you want to do. I will say, just statistically, you have better odds with the mom check.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You go for a 20% chance there.
Okay. We'll do the mom check, but... Which one of you has the tuning fork to the airplane?
I have a tuning fork, so what's a mom check? What ability check is that?
It's wisdom check.
Can I ask for her if she can use Feign for advantage?
Like I said, no bonuses.
Okay.
Just your roll.
I'm gonna click.
No immediate intervention.
It's okay.
So, I will... Leo is a follower of a sort. I cannot interfere directly, but I can grant him greater power. His patron is someone I can supersede. But it won't be immediate.
It's fine, just please, whatever you can do, protect him.
I will do as best I can. I do believe he has a good chance to live this day. And you see as Ares kind of sticks out their hand in a gesture that some of you may have seen familiar. If you guys have ever seen someone who has a weapon attuned to them that they can summon, it's a familiar gesture.
Oh no. Oh fucking no.
As it begins to coalesce, you see Libra raise just two fingers and chains wrap around Ares' hand. You may not raise weaponry in my home without my permission.
Oh, Libra's pissed.
And from what the power struggle just continues, they just look at each other. Ares not breaking eye contact with Libra, shaking against the chains. And then Libra just looks away for a moment at Leo. Leo, go to your men. Prepare yourself. I fear what our Ares plans this day. You are dismissed. And Leo disappears from the grasp of Vati, who grabbed him earlier. With that, you can see the connection to the portal wavering. Unless someone tries to interfere, the the window you guys have into right now will dissipate.
Yep.
But I'll say, anyone who wants to do anything to try to maintain it, or try to end it, or try to manipulate it in some way, what would you like to do?
I'll maintain.
Do you
Trying to maintain? How are you going to try to do this?
I have lunch prepared.
Bunch.
And 2 minutes to the plate of hair. The fork.
Okay. Go ahead and make for me. Make a raw wisdom check. You can use feign, but you cannot use guidance here.
Thank you.
As you are basically trying to wrest control of this spell. Alright. 21. You maintain a smaller version of the portal. It tries to shrink. It's struggling against your magic, but as you kind of force your way in with this new access, this new knowledge, you hold it open just barely, maybe the size of like a dinner plate.
Rosalind, quick!
All right, and
Asha wants to throw one thing.
The faster you go.
With I assume Thorn is nearby.
Yes.
Through his connection with Rosalind, he wants to send a thing from Thorn to Leo.
Okay, interesting. No spell slots in here.
And basically, he's gonna whoosh out the wings to the plane of air, and just do his best for wind to take its way through the portal and get to Leo's ears.
Okay. Also roll my wisdom check. Again, you can use feign, not advantage here. Sorry, feign, not a guidance or anything like that.
Okay.
21. You effectively have a 15-word sending spell.
Okay.
What are you sending?
Keep your head. Stay alive. We need to talk.
And just that was to Leo, right?
Yep.
Good. All right. So, as you do so, you get a response back, as by the nature of the spell. I didn't know. You have to believe me. And that's it.
We do.
So, Rosalind, what are you doing with the planner wand?
when Xenia signals, feign or otherwise, I'm gonna try to marble that portal.
Go for it.
Alright. If I remember correctly, that was just a charisma check, right? Spellcasting
Just a
check?
charisma check. Yep, and I'll say you're level what again? 19? 18?
18.
18. Okay. I was gonna give it to 19, so we'll leave it as this for now then.
Well, I would have been 19 if not for certain events.
Yeah, no, actually, hold on.
Is it a feign thing?
Yeah, it's a feint thing.
If it's a feign thing, just know that I am one feign below par. Because I gave one to Issa a while ago.
No, I am one feign above par.
That's right,
Oh,
I've
yeah,
got
but-
Ashta.
There's also... Yeah, Ashta, go for it.
I'll say with the kind of forward knowledge of Ashta, I'll say it's not a thing you can do perpetually like you would be at level 19. Or feign neutral 19. You basically can use feign on charisma checks. On any check, other than strength and dexterity, basically.
Alright.
Once it gets to level 19 and 20. It's just a thing I haven't put into it yet.
Is that a base ability?
It's basically just an enhanced version of the same one you had before.
Oh, then Esther and I should get it.
Yep, I hadn't put it into it yet. I was going to mention it as we move forward. That's why I mentioned it. Yep.
Okay. So, I can go ahead and roll this, and if I don't like it, I can roll it again if I take an advantage.
At what level do we get neural overdrive?
20.
Good to know.
Yep, feign equals 20. Go ahead, Rosalind.
That's a 14. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take the feign advantage just in case. Nope, same number.
Alright, it is enough.
Okay.
As the portal kind of collapses into the gem, the last words you hear out of that slight opening, warbled now, as it's not as stable as it was before. You hear Ares roar, effectively, and the sounds of chains snapping.
Oh shit.
The gem closes. You can go ahead and add perfect Aqua, AAQA portal gem.
Should Ashley just grab that? He has all the other ones.
Go ahead. Write it on your sheet.
What size?
Perfect. The size is perfect.
All right.
Libra might not make it to the peace talks.
Well, Libra wasn't going to be allowed at the peace talks at this point.
Did you reach Leo? Did you manage to contact him? And she's looking at Ashta.
I told him not to get himself killed and that we need to talk to him.
What did he say?
He didn't know.
He didn't. I don't think he did.
I'm not about to believe a damn thing he says until he gets here and we grill him properly.
His crying was legitimate. His upset was legitimate. It seems like someone who got fucking blindsided by this.
I trust
Libra.
Xenia's judgment on this.
I saw through Leo as well as Libra and Aries. At least believe the Leo one.
I do.
I know Leo, in a sense. I know he... It takes a lot to make a man like that cry.
He's mentioned vaguely in the past being bound to someone else's will. Is there a way that we can find out what that is and free him?
If we spoke to him, maybe. I have a conversation I need to have with him anyways. A very serious conversation, including...
You'll have it with the rest of us too.
Oh, of course. I need you all there. The mark that he has, Azers aren't born necessarily, they're made. I think he's under the command of Ares.
That would
I
make sense.
Wouldn't put it against him.
Make something clear with everyone here. If Leo's a liability in any way, I don't care if he wants to play nice with us. If he can't, then he won't. Because we're holding him to the same goddamn standard as we're doing with Libra.
Yes.
I'm denying that.
Oh, yeah.
That being said, if there's a way to make it possible for him to do as he would wish with us, to act in good faith despite others' wishes to free him, I want to be able to take that chance.
He was willing to take the Phoenix back. He was willing. All his concern and his worry was that he would be attacked on sight upon approaching the egg. Which, if one of us isn't there with him, he probably would be.
I'm not concerned with how trustworthy he is, or he wants to be. Because that didn't work here with Libra.
You're concerned with who's pulling his strings and directing his knowledge.
I'm concerned with what we're getting done. And the simple fact is that if he has all the goodwill for us in the world, but he can do nothing and he drags us down and he has something like this happen again, I have no patience for him.
I understand.
Along with any of the other Zodiacs. Cancer. Any of the other ones we might not know.
13 needs to be killed. And we need to speak to Mike. I know you dislike him, but we need to speak with him because he alone has the knowledge that I can't gain from a god.
Well then. Xenia, have you sending prepared?
I always do.
Gemini wasn't the executioner per se. He was basically the just answering a question in the chat. He was essentially Libra's ability to act outside of his home. He was the one who would go get a Zodiac if a Zodiac would need to be punished. He was the one who would capture someone. He was basically the representative outside of the base plane of air.
Ah, he was the bailiff.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I'll sending. Who we sending?
Mike.
I'm like, the fuck?
See if we can get in contact with him.
Okay. Yeah.
My stance remains not just for Zodiacs.
Just, we need talk, you have answers to questions that we need to ask.
Yep.
If he's
Set
any
up.
trouble with us, I don't have patience for him. If any of the druids.
I know.
Yep, it's just sending to Mike the Fallen. If he's on another plane, I do have to roll the d20.
Go ahead and roll the d20.
There we go.
All right.
Yep, natural 1 and fails.
Nope.
Cool. He succeeds.
But yeah, sorry, I forgot to read. Yeah, okay. Azine gonna just
You're good.
sending. What were we saying? I'm so bad with these.
At the very
Just-
least, we need to talk.
Yeah, just we need to talk. It will be a peaceful meeting.
Okay.
You have answers to questions.
Mike,
We'll
we
come
need
find you.
motherfuckers. Mike, we need to talk. You have answers to questions. Yeah, sure. The yeah, sure was Ty. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And just, it will be a peaceful
I-
meeting.
I know.
Yeah, sorry.
It will be a peaceful meeting. What plane are you on?
Bro, where
I
are
will say
you?
you do have 9 words left if you want.
Do
You
you
can leave it
want?
there if you want. Leave it there.
Do you want me to make you food?
All right.
That's it.
You get almost as soon as you finish the sending spell, you get the answer back immediately. On astral plane, holding back 13.
Holding back.
Right, I think you mentioned that.
So,
The oaths remain, but things are changing, and my power over 13 weakens.
He's weakening. He also didn't answer what he wanted to eat.
Even other words.
Xenia, can you send one more sending?
Yeah.
How can we reach you? Where can we meet? Something along those lines.
Okay.
He might
If
not
he
be
needs
able to
to,
leave.
if he needs to meet halfway, I think there's a place that we can go.
Someone typing in a minute. Wait. Thank you. Please, come on. Just one instant. Anyway, number 2, sending.
Okay, go for it.
Yep. How can we reach you? Do you need help? What else?
Barbecue?
Also, food.
Sorry.
Oh, no, this is gonna be the end of it. Please tell me the words before I waste them.
I know a place halfway.
We don't. Can I ask out of character before I say it to Xenia what that means? And
You guys be planning what to say, so.
I do want to know, what does the halfway point mean?
The halfway place, it's a place between the living and the dead. I think with a bit of focus, I can get there.
I think you can get there.
Can you get us all there?
Between the astral and here, I think with a bit of intervention and a bit of sacrifice, I probably can.
I don't think he can get there. He's currently holding off 13.
He's in the astral. This is a place between this and there.
I know, but if he leaves, he stops holding back 13.
If he leaves, does he stop holding back 13, Conrad?
You have no idea. You don't know what manner he's using to hold back 13.
I would just ask him anyways, if he can't come all the way here.
Just ask him if he can talk to us at all.
If you can, we meet halfway. Halfway is one word. If it's not, I'll fight someone. Thank God.
It is.
Also, food? No, that's it.
Brisket?
We're asking a second time, asking a second time.
Alright.
Did I say all that right? Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. I'm more asking the party so the GM doesn't fuck me over.
You still have 10 more words if you guys want anything else.
And then he starts listing off food.
Okay.
Lord of the Mind sends his regards.
Xenia offers a menu.
Enchantments of time complicate things. I'll leave soon. To you, it may be a day. Possibly two. Until then, I hold the line. I'll eat whatever you can give me.
Aw,
Prepare him a feast.
I'm gonna prepare him a piece of food.
This
Okay.
was the guy who was stalking us early campaign, guys.
I know.
Yeah, but that was like 4 years ago. It's fine.
I'm really trying to push some stuff back for the comedic point of this. I need a little bit of laughter during this session.
Then give him a TV
Fair.
dinner.
No.
Beef stroganoff.
You don't think that was what I was gonna do?
Bruh, he was, he was doing wrong, but like also he's holding back 13 for us to get this shit done. Like, let's at least,
So you're just gonna he'll be here tomorrow. What's the best worst thing I can make him?
Best worst thing?
Yeah.
Pasta, but the noodles are slightly soggy.
I'll add that with slightly dry meat.
Oh, you fiend.
What's wrong with beef jerky?
No, not beef jerky's just dry meat. I mean like slightly dry. You know when you put it in your mouth and you expect it to be like, this is really nice, but it's like slightly off.
No.
Asha, you have no taste buds.
Anyway, breakfast.
So-
Also, are we gonna may I ask? Are we gonna deal with this guy who basically stalked us for a few months,
We may have to.
a few weeks?
So,
He has answers that we need. After we get those answers, whatever you desire to do with him is up to you. But I want the answers.
Cool.
So, around now, Issa sent you guys my messages. Hey, I don't know how it went for you guys, but Orzur is on his way with a couple of the archdruids. Should I let him on? They're
What?
the ones who are less capable of teleportation decided to come early with Orzur as a sign of preparedness to talk.
Why did Granddad bring the weird cousins, man?
Because none of their cousins can drive.
Why?
Oh,
It's
they're all
basically-
gay.
No, it's like when like your aunt brings like her really annoying fucking kids. Like, this is what this is. I don't know. It might just be an Italian thing.
So, really fast, just to make sure I've got everyone. Ariel, do you have the list of the Zodiacs, all those who are planning to show up to this meeting?
All of them
I-
are planning on showing up. That was a
the-
criteria.
Sorry, not just the archdruids, but like anyone else on top of that.
No.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't have a secondary list to.
At least not offhand. I might have it somewhere in my notes, but I don't know where.
Okay. Yeah, if you happen to find it, let me know. I just want to make sure that I have the same list, just in case I'm forgetting something.
I honestly
Because
don't
I wrote it down at the
remember.
time. Yeah.
I don't
But
remember
that's
how
okay.
far back it was.
Uh,
Oh, here we go. List of what they want. We absolutely cannot have the general's spy guy, whatever his name was.
Yep.
The Inquisitor. He can't be there. Absolutely not.
Yep.
Because somebody's gonna pitch a fit. We're gonna have Orzur. Heck. We wanted the Rebellion, but that's not the Archdruids, that's rather the opposite.
yep, that's the Glimmer.
Mm-hmm. We invited the one from the Patchwork Forest to the Glimmer, but not interested in going. Gonna stay there. However, we're getting the Druid from the region, I think. He was the Fairbolga. So,
Yep. Alright.
he was the weirdo.
He's the Firbolg who kept self-harming, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
What was that about again? Did he ever give us a fucking reason, or was he just, mutilating himself? Penance.
That's all we got. So we don't know. I kind of want the twins to talk to hey, you good there, buddy?
That'd be. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be a wonderful interaction.
Yeah.
Can we please have that as like a comedic relief kind of thing of like, okay, this is
Not
really
this
fucking
Not
tense.
this session.
No, not this session, but like later,
Possibly. We'll see.
Alright, I actually don't have a list of those who are planning on attending. I only have the list of the archdruids and what they want in order to attend.
Okay,
It
good.
was some of the gathering.
We definitely
in
have
that case-
representatives from the gathering.
Yeah, in that case, I'll just use my list. I just wanted to make sure I didn't have a secondary list to compare against, just in case.
Okay.
Yep. So okay. So with this one is kind of with this group with Orzer, it's most of the archdruids. They begin floating up on this a version of a spell that you're familiar with, Esther, where it's just basically a floating disc. Most of them basically being turned into birds and sitting on his shoulders of various sizes and shapes.
Theoretically, if I took out a fucking shot put and I started picking up those fucking birds, we're not going to.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the birds are all archdruids, so it could be interesting.
How nice would that be, though, if we just got rid of them all?
But it seems the only one not immediately with him is, let's see, the Desert Archdruid, who you guys have met, and was, just make sure I've got this right, because I'm so tired of messing up names. Yeah, is the Surfer guy, who you guys met at the gathering, and the Coastal one, which is also kind of a Surfer guy. Seems they just are not on this little carriage upwards, as they settle down onto a distant part of the island, not immediately trying to invite your yeah, I know. Not immediately trying to invade your guys' space, but you can see them kind of dock and land, and they all turn back into their humanoid forms, standing next to Orzer, and Orzer kind of lifts a hand, seeing you guys very distantly from him. Those with the higher perception can see him do so, and you hear a shout over of basically, may we board, and approach.
Permission is granted.
Can you imagine if we said no?
So they kind of
No,
make their way.
not yet. The bedding isn't ready. Your rooms are not prepared. We have so much house cleaning to do.
The hors d'oeuvres are still frozen.
It's aren't bleached!
But as they all approach, Orzer kind of taking the lead of the almost phalanx he's taking. Kind of nods to you guys, and I've elected myself as temporary representatives of them, at least to make sure that everyone has their manners about them. Good to see you all. And looks at a couple of you oddly, especially Esther, and I see there's been a lot that's occurred, but we can talk about that another day. Are you prepared to take us early?
I believe we are.
Good. I believe we have a monarch to pay respect to first, right?
You do.
Yeah.
Come this way.
And he turns kind of almost to this little field trip group behind him. And just... The monarch is the keeper of this land. We are residents, secondary to our hosts. You will show them respect or we will leave. And I will not have any of you leaving here today. And there's some mumbling. You notice the Arakakra that you guys have impersonated. He seems a bit grumbly about this, but...
I was gonna say, is he being a bitch?
He looks unhappy, but he's not... At no point does he contradict Orzer.
He's not being a bitch, he's being a
Hey,
cock, he's a
Conrad.
bird, come on.
But
Hey, Conrad,
yes.
I don't have to move to use telekinesis, right?
It takes like a hand gesture, and I believe a verbal component, but otherwise no.
Can I mutter it and keep my hand behind my back?
It would still be at least somewhat visible, but you can make a sleight of hand check.
Cool. Can I try that?
Go ahead.
Oh, fuck. Can
You
I get
could-
away?
You don't know, but you can attempt whatever you'd like to attempt.
just like as the Aarakocra's walking, so his back is to us. Whatever druid is closest, just like kind of yoink on one of his feathers just slightly so it looks like the druid next to him did it because it's kind of funny.
Go ahead and roll a deception check.
I am behind him. He cannot
I'm
see
aware.
me.
I would like to
They're-
remind you that perception is a wisdom stat, and that druids all use wisdom.
And they're all level 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Deception is a charisma stat.
Deception is a charisma stat. Perception
Oh.
is a wisdom stat.
His
can
ability
I-
to see you.
Can I ask, at least with the 17 sleight of hand?
Oh, you notice what they're doing.
Yeah, Astra looks over.
Z's gonna.
What are you doing?
What the fuck are you doing?
Rosalind, without even
Oh,
turning
okay.
around, thinks back to Esther. Please don't.
Fine. If Esther is intervened, Esther will stop.
Okay. So, unless any of you do anything additional as you guys make the way to the Monarch, Orzer kind of takes the lead as the rest of them kind of stay behind him, and assuming none of you step forward first, he
Real
will...
quick, I just
Go ahead.
want it said out loud, even if it's assumed. Rosalind's shape changer thing doesn't ping anything, right?
except for the brief, except for every once in a while, some of them will just turn to a druid shape form just to move easier, it seems. But past that, no.
And there's nothing invisible within 30 feet of me, is there?
You see a couple unseen servants. You do know that Orzer tends to use those. You've seen him use them a few times before. Past that, no.
Okay.
Um,
And keep aware that Ash and Rosalind basically have that for each other.
exactly, yeah. No, it's a powerful combination. I'm aware. But as you guys make your way to the Monarch, Orzer steps forward first. He basically places a hand against his forehead and will kneel completely in front of the Monarch. The Monarch bows her head a little bit to him as well and looks to the rest of the archdruids expectantly. And one by one, they each bow. Some obviously faster than others, some more focused, as a couple of them do seem just kind of distracted with the wonders, especially the firebirds nearby. They seem fascinated by these things. You see one of them haphazardly just turn into one of them, trying to kind of copy it, and doesn't seem happy with how it turned out and pops back into their normal form. But they each bow in turn, and the Monarch says, "Welcome. You are to be my guests under the watchful eye of our wardens of this castle. This is a holy site, at least to us. So we ask that you act with that in mind, and you will show no disrespect, no violence to anyone while you are here, unless they are trying to do you direct harm. Anything else will have you removed, if not incinerated. But today, I welcome you as guests." She bows a little, closing her eyes, and one by one the archdruids each stand up, and they kind of all look at Orzo. Orzo looks to you guys, and any formalities needs to finish off before we settle out? I believe a good number of them want to talk to the Monarch for a while, and I think they're curious.
That may be arranged, and when they are finished, simply find one of the dwarves. They have directions and can guide you to the rooms you have been allotted for this day.
Then I take it we are dismissed, Lady Rosalind?
If you would so wish.
He nods to the rest of the archdruids. Two of them separate out to go talk to a dwarf. The rest all go up to the Monarch and immediately start asking just question after question. Orzer makes his way directly over to you folks and kind of trying to be subtle pulls Rosalind and Esther a bit to the side. And just something happened, it looks like. Esther, you are a bit of an open book.
Aquarius has fallen.
I assume not by your hand.
No. Ares.
It's not good.
It is not.
It's not.
Did he invade? What happened? And you guys can give the rundown quickly if you'd like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Brief rundown.
He kind of... That's not good.
I have other news as well, if you'd like, regarding 13.
Please, I'd like to walk in with as much information as I have. And he taps the head as kind of like his way to say, use the feign if you need to do things quickly and quietly.
Yeah, over the feign, she's basically just gonna give a brief rundown of God. A brief rundown of just the Lord of the Mind works with 13. But basically gist, and just at the very end, just 13 has to fall.
This is concerning, but I'm inclined to agree.
They
I think-
can't be allowed to continue.
I think we should clarify before these talks then that the Zodiacs represent themselves, not
Yes.
13. If they're acting as emissaries of 13, that they need to reconsider their position before they make peace.
I agree.
And actually, that's done pretty quickly. In that case, do you want to have that sent in advance, or do you want to have that as a requirement once they arrive here before the peace talk, but on the day of? This is your host. I'm here to assist you however I can.
That's up to you, Rosalind.
I'm going to make it clear to all parties that they represent themselves and those that they command directly. Any who are here in bad faith or without truly wishing peace are free and indeed requested to leave.
And Libra?
Libra will not be invited to join us.
Understood. Are you alright if I act as arbitrator then? I was planning to rely on Libra as a neutral party, but I don't think that's wise at this point.
No. Yes. I will... I would appreciate the aid in arbitrating.
Yes, I'm technically the greatest opposition, in a formal sense, to the Archdruids. Rainier is on his way, by the way. He sent some recurrence.
Good.
I think he plans to represent more the citizens than the actual peace itself, as he has taken next to no part in the conflict itself. So between myself, you, and Rainier, I think we can make a good neutral party. As representatives of the people, as opposed to the system.
This is exactly what we need.
Good. I haven't forgotten. We spoke of last time, don't worry. And with this, I think it may be... Well, I think the power dynamics definitely changed. The hell's going on with it? Almost concerned what's going on with your Ares then, if he has as much power as he thinks he does, or if he's arrogant.
He's arrogant.
It could be both.
She's gonna give basically what the Lord of the Mind said about how Ares has only one wish left, and he guards it with his life.
Well, a wish can't be, as far as I know at least, it can't be removed from a genie. They have to give it. It's a gift, but a bargaining chip just as much. So, I suspect it's... Doesn't matter now. He's not part of the talks. Well, kind of looks to Xenia. Can I request lunch?
Has word been going around?
No, but I'm gonna be honest, we could smell the cooking from a mile away, and it was delectable.
I am flattered. Let me go get a Frenchman out of my kitchen.
Go ahead and roll a perception check for me, Xenia.
Oh, yes. Can I guns?
Yeah, go for it.
41.
Pierre is not in your kitchen. You see him kind of standing in a doorway, just within the edge of your vision, seemingly waiting.
Xenia just locks eyes with them.
He makes like a slight gesture to speak with you, basically, to come with.
And Xenia like puts a finger up, just like up. Apparently I'm being summoned. I will make some lunch in just a moment. Xenia's just gonna go over to him. Grumbling just swears in the Fane group chat.
He kind of stands there, back straight and hands clasped in front of him as ever.
How tall is he?
You're about 5'8", 5'9".
Okay, I'm already taller than him. That's good.
I love it all. I'm gonna looks to you and I saw what you cooked the other day. I can't do a French accent, and I'm trying.
Bitch.
Oh, so you did.
It was mind-numbingly good.
I know.
Who snapped?
Me. That was me. I was like this.
Then I will concede to you, in your kitchen, that you cook with grace. And maybe not knowledge, but with skill.
I will allow you to concede, but I do request one thing.
Get the fuck out of here. No, okay.
I have to overlook some of your cooking lessons with Ashta, just to make sure you're teaching him right.
If there's still time, as this is your home, I will not stop you. Chef Senior.
Thanks, Pierre.
He kind of nods and... Now, do you want help cooking for your illustrious guests, or will you do it yourself?
With you being so kind and actually complimenting my cooking, maybe I'll grant you the gift to cook with me.
I'll be frank, Senior. If you're going to be a dick, I will just leave.
I'm joking, man. You're good. But I was using you for a bit to get better at cooking.
As I had hoped.
Yeah.
The chef's world much more than any adventuring you do is a cutthroat world.
I know, right? I can't wait to do the apple thing and Anther, but wanna cook some lunch?
It would be entertaining at least to see how you've improved.
Fuck yeah, and you go for a high five.
He gives you one with very little gusto.
Oh, we gotta work on that.
No. And you start walking towards the kitchen.
Yeah. Behind him, Zinnia flips him off and still goes in.
Yep, so
I
go ahead.
For whatever reason, I imagine it's just like, we need to work on that. No, you're fired.
Give me your apron! Get out! Get out! Get out! No,
You, an idiot sandwich.
I'll make some food.
yeah, so go ahead and make an assisted cooking check with the help of Pierre.
That's 40.
God damn, okay. By the time you're halfway through, the archdruids are all like just standing outside with oars, or kind of looking smug, but also like slightly drooly, just waiting for the food to be finished, and like just outside, knowing there's no table seat for them yet.
He's gonna jokingly call out the hallway, I was a worse cook when I was a druid.
Or is there just kind of, yeah, they were. You kind of notice as like they look kind of back and forth for a second, and then finally, the general makes his way into the kitchen, kind of right up next to you, Xenia, and just ask for a plate.
You're the only one that's asked politely, so yes.
Thank you.
He's invited to the cooking.
You're invited.
Correct. And the rest of them file in one by one with various levels of politeness, most of them with kindness, as the majority of the archdruids don't seem very uptight. A lot of them just seem kind of hanging out, but kind of like kids in a candy shop a little bit.
And he gives extra helpings to both of my No, they're not here yet. They're coming tomorrow.
They're not there yet. You do recognize, however, where is he? Sorry, I'm trying to find the right one. Or did they die? Hold on.
Wait, shit, are they deceased?
No, that one's alive. Yeah, I thought so. The one you guys met in the swampland.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'll give the swamp one her.
Her, yes.
Her. I'll give her an extra helping, and I'll give what about the air cocker? Is he being a little bitch?
He does the bare minimum of like good manners, where he says please and thank you, and requests to play without any other conversation.
There's one bone in his meat.
He does not complain.
Okay.
He is a bird.
When the swamp mother kind of walks up to you, kind of scaly as a reminder she's a lizard folk.
Yep.
She kind of goes, "Can I request an extra helping of meat, please?"
Oh, you're already getting some, sweetheart.
Excellent, thank you. I have to ask, is there any cinnamon in this?
Are you allergic?
Yes.
I don't put cinnamon in my cooking unless it's cookies. But when I make cookies, I'll make sure to make some without cinnamon if you ever want some.
Please, I like raisins.
Like oatmeal?
I can take it or leave it. Just raisins.
Yeah, it goes down.
Thank you. She takes the plate and kind of hurries off, trying to keep the tail from knocking anything over as she walks out. But with that, throughout the day, other kind of notable figures show up. Mostly like individual guards, like one each for each of the archdruids. They make it clear they don't plan to come into the talks unless welcome, but they're there to kind of keep watch throughout the night, just in case. As well, one of the archdruids, the one from the coast up north, arrives. Kind of gives a high five to everyone he sees as he walks through. Makes his way to the monarch that is being asked, nods, bows, has a 15-minute conversation about the concept of, have you ever seen an iceberg before? Do you know what an iceberg is? Have you ever tried to hang out with ice? It's a very strange conversation. But he is there. And the only holdout is the desert archdruid. And I believe one of the glimmers, let me just check my list. Remind me, did you guys invite the leader of the Goblinoid army? As he is one of the glimmers.
I believe we did.
Yes.
No, wait, did we invite him or did we invite... I think it was a representative because he was too busy.
Oh yes, I believe it was his
Yeah.
cleric. It might have been his cleric. Let me just check. Yep, that would have been his cleric. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Alright. So yeah, they would also not be arriving this day. But other than those two holdouts, everyone else arrives. Unless you guys have anything to do before about mid-afternoon.
I
Just keeping an eye on all the druids that he can.
We're making special better food for the party.
Okay.
I already
Go
got
ahead.
some shoe.
Yep, I'm just reading it now.
Like how
Okay.
Xenia's like, I will make better food, but only for the party, and I love that.
Absolutely.
I love you guys.
Yeah, I'll say you can do so. If you want to make the roll again, go for it, because your numbers are fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's still better specified for everyone. Like it's more specific meals that you know everyone likes. God damn.
Fuck.
Jesus.
Gidons.
You.
Do you make any for the dwarves? Because they are like following after you like puppies.
Because they've been very nice to me too.
All right, they happily enjoy it.
Yeah. everyone
Esther,
gets
that can be
special
done
meal.
in a couple hours.
Hmm?
Esther, yours can be done in a couple hours, by the way. It doesn't take very long.
To construct the statues?
Not the statues, but the beginning.
Ah, okay.
The statues themselves will take a bit longer, or higher level spells, but with a combination of your magic and most of your cantrips, plus telekinesis, you can get a lot of work done in a couple hours. Ash, to go ahead and make either perceptions, investigation, or insight check of your choice on the druids. Go ahead, take advantage, because you're kind of doing the whole thing with investigating a lead or your guard ability, basically.
I'll feign that for one more.
Sure.
There we go.
Excellent. For the most part, they're very well behaved. You do find the Aarakocra, the archdruid. He does seem to have a penchant for getting as high up as possible and kind of watching over everyone else. He is definitely the least trustworthy of the guys' defenses. You find him investigating it and not quite testing it somewhat in like a destructive way, but casting spells to figure out your defenses and make sure that he understands them. As you do remember, he was probably the most cautious earlier on. But he speaks with the Wizard about a few of them. You actually end up being asked a few questions by him as well. And he seems unhappy but satisfied with the answers he gets. But if that is all, then around 4 or 5 p.m., actually, you feel like a slight tug of planar energy near you. Not insidious by any means. And you see a little, like a familiar window kind of appear. And Leo on the other side kind of looking at you and, may I enter? A lot's happened and I think you need to know.
If Ashta doesn't answer and if Rosalind's there, then
Oh,
they should
sorry.
invite him to.
I
Yeah,
thought
that
was
was
Esther.
no, that was near you, Ashta.
Okay, then they'll just turn and look, and it's like, you're gonna have a walk with us to the person who owns this land.
Perfect. I just really think you need to know everything that just happened. Do you want me to give the short version before we get to them? Before I step on
No,
you and
we're
decide how
gonna-
welcome?
No, we're gonna walk there first.
I'm not gonna argue with you. I just want to make sure. He's
And there's a
You
quick
can-
faint over to everyone.
Yep.
Yep.
Actually, you can see on he is covered with cuts, bruises, markings of fighting. He's wearing his armor. No weapon on him that you see, but he's wearing armor. He has a wand by his side. He is seemingly just left some sort of conflict.
He just puts a hand out, the wand.
Yeah, he immediately just takes 2 hands at you, no questions asked.
Hmm.
Can I bring my familiar?
What is it?
Small salamander, like a material plane salamander.
Goes anywhere other than your shoulder. You can summon it again later.
Sure, I can keep him unsummoned if you'd like. He's comforting.
It's gonna make you more coherent. You can stay on your shoulder.
And he kind of steps to the portal, and I'm fully closing it behind me, by the way, not locking it this time. And he waves his hand. And it closes behind him. You can feel there's no echoes of any magic there. And I assume it would be in bad taste to put me in handcuffs, but I'm going to treat it like I'm in them. I'm not going to do anything.
Asher throws the wand in the bag.
Yep.
Has the crossbow, and just like, we're gonna walk.
Sure.
Curiosity, where's this discussion happening? Is it outside or in the castle?
You guys are collecting now. This would have been inside one of the rooms of the castle, basically.
Ah, okay.
We'll find somewhere private for the talk with. Oh no, we're gonna go talk to the monarch, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So you guys make your way over there. By the time you guys get there, the entire party is collected. Makes his way over to the monarch and looks to it and nods. And yeah, Esther, you can meet them in the courtyard as they kind of approach the monarch. A couple of the archdruids are still kind of talking with them, just chatting. And as you guys kind of walk in, Leo in tow, anyone who can see this kind of just goes quiet, just watching what happens next.
I'm going to feign a firebird to feign the monarch to ask if there can be a private talk between her and Leo.
The firebird will feign back that if you'd wish, she can freeze time and you all can speak.
Yes.
Right, so as Esther, you kind of make your way in, immediately the monarch blinks her eyes, and suddenly, as usual, you guys all appear in your primordial forms. The only notable change of them is Esther's, as it's not a huge change, but the color of any flames, I believe. No, it was a sandstorm. There are points of light inside the sandstorm that now glow, and she's a lot more solid. Esther, if you wish, in this form, you could appear as yourself or as your primordial form.
She's gonna try to appear as herself.
Yep,
Just to see what the monarch does.
Yep, you see Esther just appear as Esther in full regalia. And the monarch kind of nods to you. Very well. Leo, you can see, I believe you've seen once before. No, you have not. It looks pretty much just like a bronze statue with a burning red heat in the chest, as well as molten red eyes. And he looks around, and I assume this is privacy of some form.
Yeah, it is.
Well, he looks at the monarch and kind of bows, folding himself in half a bit, and I greet you as Leo of the border plane of fire and earth. I have information that I believe you all should know, but I'm sure you have requirements of me first. So,
We're not taking
request what you must.
You look like you've gone through hell and back.
Yes, I have been preventing an uprising on the plane of fire as best I can.
Uprising against who?
Ares, and let me make sure I get the right name. Ares and Virgo.
What
It's
caused it?
that is what I came here to speak of. Shall I begin, or do you need something of me first?
I think that you should begin. We will follow with any questions that arise from your tale.
And you swear to honesty then?
I swear to honesty. I have no paladin here that I would normally use to bind an oath, but if you would like me to sign a contract of honesty, cast any spells so that you are able to in this strange reality that you've summoned, please do so.
I'll hit him with a truth serum.
Go ahead. He'll doesn't question it, doesn't argue it. Is to be clear, if that is a poison of some kind, it won't work on me, but you may do what you wish.
Formality.
Whatever you need. May I take a seat on the ground? I've been on my feet all day.
Also?
Yes.
He does so, and he drops the ground with an exhaustion to him, his armor clanging against it. In short, I'll explain further, but the short version is Ares attempted to usurp Libra, and arguably to assassinate it, but it seems to be a sort of, as far as I can tell, a failed coup. You'll have to forgive me if I'm disjointed here. Until very recently, I am a man of many masters, but yes, go ahead.
I want to double check DM.
Yep.
Ares tried to assassinate Libra?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm getting information from messengers, mostly the organization that Aquarius once led, which I need to apologize again. I didn't know.
We know.
I personally don't care. You still failed.
I'm
And
aware.
it's what you're going to do now that's going to affect any sort of change on that.
I'm aware.
You don't need to apologize to us.
For my own sake, I do, but I understand. In short, it seems that I've often been the one who acts on this plane, in part due to my nature as someone relatively charismatic, in part because I am one of the only Zodiacs to interact with you in a non-violent setting, as you folks have been proven antagonistic, though willing to speak. On your planes, I'm the only one who has interacted with you and survived. So, at least that's what I've been told as to why I was sent here continuously. I'm beginning to think there was more afoot than that. One of the first things Ares did when reconvening the Zodiacs was enforce a meeting of all Zodiacs but one at any given time. Effectively, that we could not make a decision without all of us there, barring extenuating circumstances. The only one that was allowed to not be there. That rule was introduced when Aquarius was taken. And then as other Zodiacs died, the Sagittarius initially, he expanded the rule such that they could send a representative instead. As from what I'm hearing from the other Zodiacs, this is often what took place. I myself was allowed to be the one not there, as Aquarius had her second in command as representative. One that you may be familiar with, I think. He was the young man. He said he met you folks, and that's why he was put in charge.
Junior.
I believe that was his name, yes.
How is he? Is he okay?
Last I heard, yes, but I think so much has happened today.
If he's in the meeting that led up to today, then he's in the same spot as you and Libra right now.
which does not surprise me, but I may at least explain. Libra, as you know, was supposed to be a stoppage of power, so that no one zodiac could become a dictatorship as it had in the past. But we also had a way to update laws as things had changed in the millennia, or centuries, I forget. I'm not great at my history. So this meeting, anytime it was called upon, if anyone had a want to change a law, they could bring it up. And Libra was required to vote on it. And he was given a more significant vote than anyone else, but he could not change it by himself. There was no single veto power in case even Libra could be corrupted. But what we have, and I say we, this is a collection of 5 or 6 zodiacs who Ares today has tried to have our planes invaded, to be clear.
What would that list be? Sorry.
It's okay. Myself, Taurus, who is a business partner of mine. Capricorn wasn't invaded, but they hold no love for Ares. They see him as a monster. Libra opposes Ares, of course, but well, yes. Gemini is with us as well as Cancer and Pisces. It's a majority of the zodiac. And if we all live us tomorrow with the understanding that you have any final say, us who remain wish to still come to the peace talks, at least as representatives of our plane. But we understand if that can't be you. It is your land. We will not invade you. We do not wish for war. Most of us didn't want war in the first place, but were convinced of it. But in these meetings, almost invariably, Ares would bring up some sort of law that he wanted changed, repealed, something. This was standard practice. He was consistent with it. It was not unusual for him and Libra to fight, but it was always voted on. Sometimes it went his way, sometimes it went in Libra's way. As more and more representatives got sent, as things got heated, as minor conflicts, scuffles, organizational messes that we've come to learn might be the work of Virgo, primarily. As these have expanded, many of us were stuck home, and myself, I was often a representative on your plane. The most recent meeting, I was speaking at the gathering, as you saw me there, Esther.
Hmm.
I didn't realize it was normal. I was always sent. But in that recent meeting, they repealed a obscure law, one that effectively gave priority to any law passed in the modern era of the Zodiacs, as opposed to the ancient. This one Libra opposed, but I believe the other representatives had been either bribed or convinced to vote with Ares for just this law. And on that ground is why Aquarius was prosecuted.
And what would that law be?
He repealed the priority of the new laws. He allowed old laws to have equal say, which, in a more complex legal jargon that I do not feel sufficient to explain, it effectively nullified the ability to, throughout cases of ancient law, where there was another law that interfered until non-wartime. Because of that, Ares was able to bring forward the ancient law that a zodiac must be executed in the land of Aqua, or on the elemental planes once more. And because there was no law to stopgap that, Ares was able to bring it forward, to push it, and since there were no laws directly opposing it, nor actively interfering with it, as well as, if I had to guess, a number of changes that were built up to it beforehand, he was able to argue at least well enough that that law must be upheld. and Libra upheld it. From what I'm told, he had tried to argue it in the time since in the subsequent meetings, but he could rarely get more than one of the full Zodiac to appear. And as mentioned, the other representatives were mostly in the pocket of Ares.
Are they still now?
It's uncertain. Many of the Zodiacs, upon hearing the news of Aquarius, came to call a meeting against Ares, but Ares at that point had already tried to kill Libra. And as such, he effectively declared war on the rest of the Zodiacs, with Virgo on his side, and unfortunately, with Sagittarius dead, he's the only representative other than myself of the plane of fire. And Virgo is a powerful figure. They control far too many slaves to be a negligible force, expendable slaves in their mind.
Slaves? What do you mean slaves?
We have known this for a while. Do you remember the bard of the college?
The Dean, yes.
The dean? He was once a slave of Virgo. That was stated.
Sorry, I genuinely did not remember that.
That's okay.
You weren't there in
It's
person.
been a
that's for
long
sure.
time. Ah, right. Okay.
Yep.
So in that case, Esther might not have been there because of the whole resurrection thing or something.
It was before Resurrection, but Sky wasn't there, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. That's good.
Rosalind, recap it for Ben.
Yep. And myself, I so to speak the truth, I am a man of many masters, formerly at least.
Who do you serve now?
I'm not certain, as my magic hasn't disappeared. No new patron has come to claim me, as I am a warlock, as I'm sure some of you know by now. Once it was a Lamia, a being that manipulates and coerces people. They are the one who freed me from, as I was also once a slave. And I, on the whim of that Lamia, I served Ares as a Zodiac. I thought I was meant to be a plant to give the Lamia power, but I've rebelled against that person who gave me power. I was planning to, well, if push come to shove, sacrifice my life in doing so, but it turned out they were more powerful in manipulation than in magic. So I slew the Lamia myself. And it seems that they were sent there by Ares to take command of me, as they knew I had sway with the other Azers and was a talented market. Which leads to today. I don't believe my realm on the plane of fire is still under my control. I have Azers who still follow me. I have loyal people. I have access to a vast amount of funds. But I believe the plane of fire is mostly under the control of Ares at this point.
And you desire what? The fall of Ares?
I desire peace. Frankly, Ares is not the problem of this plane. I'm sure you want retribution, and I don't blame you, but before we start that, we need the Zodiacs, who are still one. We want peace, so we're not fighting both for our home and against you. So we want to go through with the peace talks, with the understanding that if any so will it, whether it be Archdruid or anyone, we also want to take down Ares, and by extension, 13.
13 must fall.
Of this, we agree.
That is a non-negotiable.
I agree. I believe many of the other Zodiacs, if you presented will, and I don't believe your Archdruids will disagree, as I believe it is them we are trying to make peace with, not you necessarily. But I want to present this to you so you know what's happening, and if you feel fit to warn the Archdruids, you may. We don't stand with what happened today. We don't stand with Ares. We don't stand with 13. But we don't know where we stand now.
Happened
And
with Libra.
Libra, I believe they're alive, but if they are, them and Gemini have been mostly unable to contact us or us them. The realm of Aqua is chaos right now. The Vati are fighting against genies of all ways, shapes, and sizes. Virgo is another genie. I probably should mention. An earth genie rather than a fire genie.
In that case, I suppose there's no issue in you, when you speak, you have to speak solely for yourself and your plane. Not
Yes.
for anyone else. Not for 13.
Of course, Ares had the connection with 13. Arguably Libra did too. We don't understand their connection as of right now. As I said, things have been hell today. I have the ability to bring the other Zodiacs who I am allied with, and who I've had contact with, to the talks. I don't know where Libra is, but I trust Gemini to keep him safe. Gemini is probably the closest in strength, in might at least, to Ares. I believe between the two of them that they can stay alive. Whether they can stay here, though, I don't know. And whether we would welcome is another question by itself.
You can speak
As
for
I-
yourself. If you've got any idea for the other Zodiacs, give your estimate, but we're not going to take it 100%. But for you yourself,
Then let me give the explanation of each Zodiac who wants to come here. Yeah? So you know who you're dealing with. Intel, not...
I want to start with you.
Sure.
Before we even get into this whole thing. Do you value peace? Or your plan, the peace between us and
Yes.
your plane over your position of power?
Absolutely.
What about the rest?
I believe, at least with my knowledge, most of them. Some are self-centered, not selfish, but almost unconcerned with the goings-on of their citizens. As for Pisces, I can guess, but they were second in command to Ares, so I don't know how much I believe what they've said. John, just a bit of clicky clack there.
Oh, sorry.
Ash looks to the rest. If any of this peace anything goes anywhere through, none of the Zodiacs are keeping their station.
That
I would say otherwise.
isn't something I think that will ever occur.
I don't want to cause another genocide of the Zodiacs by
You didn't
their
wanna-
own laws.
Esther
think-
visibly shivers at the
Well, you think-
genocide bit.
What, you think I'm going to kill them all?
I
They're
think
stepping
that
down.
by their own laws, they will die. Those laws must change before anything of that sort can happen.
Then that will be done.
Ashta, by those logistics, every archdruid should step down.
We can deal with that afterwards.
No, that... You're protesting a double standard.
Asha,
What's the double?
I
The
would
Zodiacs on the elemental planes are their form of government, such as the archdruids are here.
And both of them have currently taken place in quite the system that has led to this entire war.
Yes, they have.
If we're taking Libra on his failures that ended with Aquarius' death, if we're taking Leo here on his standards, on his lack of knowledge that led to all of this, then we're
about
taking
this?
them all on all of the effects of this war. If they want to be second, fine. If they want to lead the next generation and they want to espouse their ideals and how things should be done, fine. They're not getting the position because it hasn't worked this time.
How about this, Ashta? How about we bring this to the peace talks when it comes, the position of what happens with the Zodiacs after we make peace, after we eliminate Ares and 13. I think for now, the positions of power need to stay at least long enough for the armies to be led to take back what was...
I'm not saying we're axing it right now either.
Then
I'm asking if you're willing for that kind of change in the long run before you take this step with us.
I'm willing for it to be a discussion, but as you said, I cannot speak for the Zodiacs. I can speak
Then
for
you
myself.
yourself.
If I can find a better leader, then yes, they will take precedence, and I will put them ahead of myself. I will step down.
Then we're good.
But if no one in Azer, a long enslaved race, are willing to step ahead and try to lead with the intellect or skill that I believe I can bring, then I will lead them as best I can until someone better comes along. As you said, I wish for what is best for my land, and if that's me, I will be it. I respect you, Ashta. I am no servant to you, though. You can bring it up in the peace talks. I will do what is best for my people, and if that means I have to lead them, then I will, just like you would. As it stands, I have access to funds, connections, deals that are what keep the Azers free and autonomous. I have created a city of only free people, where no slaves are allowed. If no one else can maintain that, then they will not be given the chance. I will maintain it myself until someone better comes along.
Corvo, please. Corvo, it's a serious moment. Please, Corvo.
I know.
You don't need your title to do that.
I don't think you understand, Ashta, who we're facing. The title is secondary, I agree, but it is a necessary formality. Most of the deals I've been able to make have only been able to be made because I'm a Zodiac, and so long as that holds sway, it is a title of power that gives me access. When it is no longer necessary, we can talk about revoking it.
Out of character, I feel like the point is being skewed, so we'll just take this later.
Okay. Can we at least agree to... After I give the intel, you can decide who can come to the peace talks. And I can let you know who we have on our side, so that we can be of assistance there. Title or not.
Is that to me specifically, or?
Yeah, it's with Ashta.
Okay. We always had the sway of choosing who comes here.
Good. Then let me tell you who wants to come. And you can, as always, have the final say. As a group, of course. Is that okay?
I believe so.
Alright.
I'm looking towards Rosalind as I'm talking, by the way.
Yeah.
Because Rosalind knows diplomacy. It was just quiet and I didn't know what else to do.
I kind of tried to speak up a few times, but conversation kept going, so.
Turn you up then.
Yeah.
So, as it stands, let me start by plane by plane. On the plane of fire, there is just myself. Sagittarius is dead, and Ares is a traitor. On the plane of Earth, Taurus is a traitor similar to myself, though one of lesser morality, I believe. Oh, sorry, that's me, actually.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
I saw the green. Oh, it's the... Never mind, sorry.
Yep. He is one to summon beings and bind them to himself to work for him. Some of us call them slaves, some of us disagree. Many of them are devils, though. And they're devils bound by contracts that he seems to be good at tricking them and work for him. But he is also who was supplied most by Virgo in terms of material, as well as myself. He has agreed to throw in his lot with us, as he sees us as the greater force. A merchant, essentially. As well, we have Capricorn, who many say is mad, but at the very least is a powerful wizard, with a penchant for powerful magic items. She is where many of us went for our powerful weapons. That being said, she bears no ill will, but is one of those that I mentioned is distracted and doesn't really care much to pay attention to the goings on of the individual. Like I
Do
said,
you know if that? Do you know if that was the one that got Ares his weapon?
likely yes. Though I myself have also gotten many an item for them. Most of the Zodiacs have. Most of our forces have, actually. She seems to gravitate them towards her. As I said, if this is a problem, she'll probably be the one to protest the least if you don't want her there.
Keep going.
All right. The entirety of the plane of air, to the best of our knowledge, is lost. Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini are either dead or unable to be contacted. That being said, the plane of water has held together the best so far. Pisces was second in command and rules a kingdom all to her own. Many of them revere her, but she is a holy woman, beholden to a goddess of light. And Cancer seems to trust you all distinctly, and was one of the first to suggest that I come to you with a plea for peace to maintain. And that's everyone. The plane of water and fire, for all intents and purposes, are gone to us. I have rebels within the plane of fire, Azers, many others as well, as many of Sagittarius's cities, mobile as they were, have come to us with his passing. I believe the realm of Aqua stands, but is not the Vati have lived this long by being of great power and great neutrality. So I believe if we come to their defense, they will rally with us. I don't know what has happened with Gemini or Libra, but from what I hear, that this may be of lesser concern to you, at least for the time being.
We'll keep an eye on Gemini.
Gemini is simple, let's say. Have you ever had the pleasure of meeting them?
No.
It's a duo, as you can imagine from the name. I want to say giant. They're huge. I don't know if they're necessarily giant kin who ride the dragon. The pair of them are Gemini, an ancient dragon, with an ancient man atop it. They are rather impressive, but not much for politicking, as they have always been, if not beholden, then at least in awe of Libra and the realm of unity.
Are they one being with two heads or two beings?
Two beings.
It's a giant individual who rides in an ancient dragon.
Yes.
Ah, the dragon is the other. My mistake.
Yes. That's okay. I understand it's not the typical political cabinet you may be used to.
What do you mean by simple?
Putting it bluntly, they're not very smart. They're not around people. They live on the very edges of the plane of air. They kind of just watch over things, make sure people are safe. They do as Libra asks because they've learned to trust Libra. The dragon seems more than content to just live their life with the giant. Not really much of a individual themselves, more so as a secondary to the giant, as they seem to just be friends who really like each other and get along.
How old of a giant are we talking?
couldn't say. Older than the last Zodiacs. So at least as old as Libra.
There's a quick faint over. Everyone's just like, wonder if that's anything to do. If Gemini has anything to do with that castle, this castle we're on. If there's a
No.
giant anything going on.
It
Yeah,
occurred.
that would be interesting.
But that is us. I believe that is. Let me just count. I believe that's 7 people. Pisces, Cancer, Leo, Gemini, Libra, Capricorn, and Taurus. 6.
What about the empty positions?
We haven't elected a new Sagittarius or a new Aquarius or a new Scorpio.
What have they left behind?
Individuals of relative repute within their own home plane. As I mentioned, the Aquarius was a relatively young soldier. They were they're messengers, they're not much soldiers. I fear for them greatly. I don't know what strength or resistance they could put up against an army such the size of Ares, but I wouldn't be surprised if they all scattered from their plane and to assist the allied Zodiacs.
Question, DM.
Yep.
Do we still have Junior with us? Because he was not mentioned as going with Aquarius.
He was not requested, so he was not brought along, basically.
Yeah. Alright. Look over. We may have a messenger.
Please tell.
Messenger. Oh no.
If we can get him into that plane, if we can provide a way out, then perhaps he can bring word.
If we can collect some of them.
Yes. At the very least, I want to get... For Aquarius, I'd like to get them out of that conflict, if that's at all possible. Maybe offer them positions guarding the castle for the duration of the peace talks. Something. Anything like that.
If you can tell them to gather in one place tonight, I do have one portal that I can open. And I can open it to a hidden place within Aquarius' home.
Can you send the messenger there?
I can only open it once. I couldn't open it again today.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't trust him on his own anyways.
That would be the way to get them out.
Yes. If you have the ability to cast sending spells, a number of them, I can provide faces, and I believe your other messenger would have access. They have their own means of transmission of knowledge, a sort of network they can access between themselves, I believe.
We'll have to speak to Junior.
Please, if you can have him as a representative, at least someone to listen in on the talks, so when he does go back, whether or not he's in charge, he can at least inform of what's happening.
We can make this quick while we're still in conversation here. And I'm going to ask the Monarch if it's possible for her to send Thorn outside of our little time bubble to go take that message.
Yep.
Just to have him dive into the pot and go.
You would all basically have to step back into a normal flow of time, long enough for him to walk into the range of the Monarch.
Yeah. I'm just going to send Thorn to go and relay all of this to Junior, the plan that we put out.
The pot, though.
Yeah.
I could just open the...
Oh, yeah, you could just open the pot, but we can also just open the pot and dump Thorn in and then resume our conversation, so we're not having to roleplay everything at once.
We have to go into real time to access the pot. There's still archdruids around.
That's okay. We can
It
right
could be
back
done
in.
quickly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys can do that, drop Thorn in there. He can basically give the message all at once, once time flows back, basically. Or if you want to bring him out now, you can just step in another room, pull him out, and come back here.
Nah, just dump Thorn in there and Junior's in for an info dump.
Yep.
Oh, dear.
He gets a lord up as soon as time resumes, basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, if there's anything else I can offer you in terms of explanation of knowledge, anything I can tell to the other Zodiacs, are we welcome to come to peace, to discuss peace between us?
As of previous known events, Personally, I only wished to bar Libra and Aries upon known actions. Every other zodiac was going to be allowed to represent themselves and their own people if they wished peace.
That is all we ask.
The
Are
only
you willing
bar
to... Oh, please go ahead.
The only bar from the table would be those who do not care for it or do not wish it or are not willing to look for it.
Could I have her qualifier?
Yes.
We want to know exactly who was representing who at that last meeting about that law change.
Yes.
I can have them prepare a list for you by tomorrow morning. May I give one
Oh my god.
last bit of knowledge that I believe I was able to collect? It was through espionage, so I do not know its
Ow.
ramifications. But I was able to spy in one time. When Ares was overthrowing things, I was able to enter his home and steal documents. It's information I believe you find useful.
There's a lot of sudden squeaking and background noise.
Ah, shit, that's me again, sorry.
Ow.
Yep, sorry, I have a little pitiful. I keep fucking around with it, I keep forgetting.
Okay, it seriously hurt.
Yep, sorry, I forgot. But yes, I have a warning of what I think Ares plans to do next, and it's not good.
And that would be?
I believe he plans to try to crash the peace talks and act as a distraction for something more dangerous.
13.
Possibly. All I know is it concerns your many gestures up. It concerns your monarch. I think he wants to have it killed.
That will not occur.
And that's why I wanted to warn you too. Even if we can't come to peace talks, I believe you need to know this. When Ares arrives, watch the monarch and protect them. Something wants them dead. Something wants them dead because they can stop time like this. And he hands you like a sheaf of papers. I don't know what more is the Thursday Gleam. It's mostly in code. I did what I could with the few hours I had.
Well, I'll take a look at it.
Rosalind, this is your specialty.
There's a quick feint over, to the group, but aimed at Rosalind as well. Just tell your patron to keep an eye out too if he doesn't know already.
I will.
Oh, sorry, I wasn't watching the World 20 chat. Yeah, sorry, when was the inciting thing from Xenia? Sorry, I had another tab to keep track of things.
Immediately when he started talking about all the other zodiacs.
Okay, I'm going to roll a retroactive insight check. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, 20 total.
20?
Did you find?
I'll just reroll quick before I.
Go for it. Yep, go for it.
Okay, 28.
Perfect. You do know that Phoebus did affect him with a truth serum, which does lay credence to his claim. As far as you can tell, he obviously knows more about them, but he's trying to keep it as quick as possible, as relevant as possible.
How confident was he in his answers?
For most of them, pretty confident. He was least confident with Capricorn, and with... He had reservations that he was pretty clear with, I think, with Tauros, where he's not sure if he trusts him. And as he said, he's not super comfortable with Pisces, because he doesn't know where she had her role, whether she had a role. But he doesn't know, and I don't know if I said it or not, but she basically immediately denounced Ares as soon as she found out about this. But he doesn't know how to trust her.
By that insight, there is confidence in his answer and to an extent being slightly reliable in what he was saying to us.
He believes that everything he says is the best information he can give you. And that he is doing his best to inform you with as much as he has. So he's tried to make clear his reservations where he thinks he lacks knowledge as well. Mm-hmm. And he feels it's the best he can do.
There's some unreliability there, that's all I needed to know, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry I didn't say it earlier. So unless you would have anything else of me, will you allow me to speak with, I believe you said his name was Junior? It's possible he can get information to Aquarius's men, and I want to know what's going on there. Or have them know what's going on.
Yes. If there is anything else that you need to talk to the Monarch directly about, do so first. We should move to a different location before bringing Junior into this because of the
Alright.
flow of time.
The Monarch was listening. What was her reaction about, the assassination attempt, potentially, on her?
If you take a look at her, as always, she seems just patiently listening. Go ahead and roll an insight check. $25. The closest thing to an emotion you see within her is a sort of kind of acknowledgement, a kind of a grim acceptance that this is happening, whether she likes it or not, and it's something she's going to have to deal with. She doesn't seem abjectly concerned with herself, at least. And she seems to be waiting for you folks to finish conversing before she speaks up. As DM has a lot of NPCs, they're trying not to control them all at once, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be a good idea to wait at least a moment before speaking with Junior to give him time to process the fact that his leader is dead.
All right.
Also, we'll be there for it.
Of course. And he kind of gestures to Rosalind. How quickly will it take you to decode this message?
I'm not certain. I haven't encountered it before. Sometime.
Until then, what would you have me do? I am a guest in your home, and I am aware that I'm at best an unlucky one, at worst an unwelcome one.
If possible, would you mind coming with me on a walk for a moment?
As long as it won't cause any issues, and as always, as long as I'm not going to be directly harmed, yes, of course. I'm with what it matters. I do want to apologize that my, at least partial neglect and ignorance caused this, to whatever degree it has. But I do want to work towards something better. As long as it's better and more peaceful, I am willing to do what it takes, no matter the cost.
I might suggest speaking with Orzer.
I'll have to rely on you to introduce me.
He is an expert in defensive magics. Esther can make the introductions if you would be willing on your walk.
I will.
This potential attack is something that Orzer may be able to think of ways to deflect.
Also, the man's pretty experienced with your organization.
That he is.
Well, I'll be excited to meet him then, and to see how many of my tricks he picked up before I, converted, I suppose would be a good word for it.
Do you have any specs on your life in the coming time?
Hopefully I live in at least a day or two long enough to make it to the talks. That's all I can expect for now.
Do you have your symbol?
I don't.
Good.
Are you certain?
Yes. It was, I don't know if melted is the right word, but it's as close as we get when something gets buried in magma. It doesn't quite melt if it's good steel, but, well, Azer made steel. But it does get buried in flame, I suppose.
Not
So
everything at the bottom of a volcano is melted.
Exactly.
Asha says, thinking of the man.
About to say, speaking of the bottom of the volcano, we might have to bring that up too.
Actually, you know what? That's a good point. It's like, hey, what do you know about it? What was it? Volcanic core?
Eric.
Oh, the volcanic core was the creature, though.
Yeah, he's like, what do you know about a volcanic core?
Not to fuck with them, mostly. One sits at the center of the City of Forges, where myself and Virgo did most of our construction.
Are you sure it's still there?
Relatively. It would partially collapse the plane if it left, so I believe so. But
Partially on?
Yes, there are a number of volcanic cores that exist, though. That's just the primeval one, the first one, as it were.
Are you of them missing?
Possibly, but I tend not to keep track very closely. They're elementals. They mostly do what they want.
Well, one is on the material.
Oh, that's horrible. Where?
Mm.
I haven't heard of any. Oh, yes, the one that Ares wanted to send, right?
Was that the one that was supposed to wipe out the entire bottom half of the country before the Sagittarius stuff happened?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw some. Hold on. I saw he kind of like gestures towards the papers that he gave to Rosalind. I saw something about a core, but I didn't get the word before. I didn't realize that's what it meant. This section mentioned something about it, but it was harder to. I couldn't figure it out as quickly.
Point out the exact words, and I will use that as a basis. Once I have
Yeah, he
one piece of the thread, the rest should be unraveled.
Yep, he does so, and he actually like shows you that the back paper of the list was as much as he was able to figure out, and he did okay. He probably got 1 out of every 6 or 7 words for the most part, except for a couple pages where he got like 1 or 2 words total. It will be enough that with probably an hour or two's work, and like a decent check, which I believe you have a skill for, right?
I can create written ciphers that create a DC, and I have languages, and that's pretty much like if I can create them, I can probably deconstruct them.
Yeah, I'll say that you just at base level have enough to deconstruct them. It's just a matter of how long it takes, but at most it would take like 3 or 4 hours. You've got a pretty good base here. It's just a matter of taking the time to go through it meticulously.
So would that be like an intelligence check with proficiency then for Rosalind?
I'm gonna say that it would be basically like a spellcasting check, effectively. Like spellcasting, like an attack roll, spellcasting, like a charisma plus
Plus proficiency. So
Yeah.
I just roll my spell attack. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
I'll take it.
yeah. But it's, again, you'll get it no matter what. It's just a matter of how long.
Okay.
I shall continue with Leo. Just like you seemed somewhat understanding of maybe getting that Phoenix back. What about that
yes.
guy?
It's a resident of ours. If I was originally planning to use it as a point in our favor for the talks, as a representative to make a concession for you all, though we did not bring this elemental to your plane, it is home to us, and we will take responsibility both in reparations and as bringing it home, as long as you will give us access to it to do so.
So are you
As
talking about the Phoenix or the core?
The Phoenix. The core I didn't realize was here. I was planning to use it as a talking point, as a way to show that we want to be separate long enough that we can make reparations and ideally in the future connections to this plane, friendly ones.
Well, you've got 2 points now.
Yeah, volcanic cores are a similar but less agreeable caliber, but I would at least be curious to find out what has happened.
There's currently a man at the bottom of that thing, currently wrestling it into pacificity.
Happens to also be the man who saved my life and brought me back.
Sounds like one hell of a man.
He is.
Well,
You'd probably like him if he hasn't literally been like burning the entire time because of something with your organization.
I was going to ask. I take it he's immune to flames, then, yes, and is a powerful figure within your society.
He
Fairly.
is.
And would this
Hopefully.
be in the city that you first met me in, down south?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be that forge master?
Dwarf.
You are correct. I did quite appreciate that man as a interesting person to try to make deals with.
You should appreciate him even more now.
I gotta deal with this, my dumbass cat. 1 second.
All I hear is just Charlie going, Corvo! In the background.
Yep.
Do you like that?
So, Orzer, abjuration, defenses, etc., would know better where to focus defenses because of Monarch and because
Especially
of
against forces from the plane of fire with help from Leo.
Yep.
Also, it'll be pretty easy to keep an eye on the Monarch during the proceedings because we were planning on having them in the courtyard with the Monarch.
Yeah.
We can ask we can probably ask a druid or two to
What?
maybe not, no. We could figure out a way to get some rain going.
Oh,
Eh,
rain? One control weather?
Idea.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I also have control weather.
Because we're being raided by Ares of the plane of fire.
Oh, so you just
Okay.
want it constantly reading?
I'd rather have that on hold for if when it starts than to be sitting miserably in a drizzle trying to do peace talks and yeah.
Are we
I'd rather
sitting
It takes-
outside?
Less?
It takes 10 minutes to cast control weather's the thing.
I have the
So
same for
waiting
Eric.
until it happens. Oh, me as well. But it takes 10 minutes to cast it.
Yeah,
Fair point.
that's the issue.
Something I didn't know.
Yeah.
Can you change it while you're concentrating on it?
I believe so. Let me just.
Yes, but you'll lose the spell slot.
I thought it was. Is that the one that changes
Um,
over certain rounds?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, sorry. Do you mean during the casting or during the actual duration of it? That you can change it.
Change it.
Control.
Because
you
sorry,
can-
I might have misunderstood. I was thinking if you change it while during the 10-minute casting time, you lose the spell slot. Sorry, that's what I
No.
was going to say.
Nope, I'm reading it. Good.
I was just gonna read it off, but okay.
Yeah, go.
No, it's okay. You said you're all good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah. Either way. Sorry, I can't manage to flip his cone upside down and stick his arm through it somehow, and I had to unravel him. Where was I?
Honestly, I don't know where any of us were.
The core, right? Some of
Yeah.
the core.
Yeah.
Oh, I think this guy just lagged out there.
About Eric?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Yes, I spoke to him more as a merchant than anything else, as, I was posing as a merchant at first when I was there. He was fascinating, to say the least. Man after my own heart, as someone who was born of and lived in the forges myself. A good man, if I recall correctly, too. It's a pity he is so belabored as he is. But if I can bring it up in the peace talks, I will happily make that a something I wish to fix. To separate. Oh god.
One fucking line.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. I will give you that.
I know I'm fucking not. Are you gonna look at me and tell me that I'm wrong?
I cannot look at you right now. Yes. Please, do keep in mind as well. Going into these negotiations, I will still be treating it as a negotiation. At the very least, as a front for the Archdruids, so they don't think they can step over us. I trust you folks. I don't necessarily trust your Archdruids.
That's fine. I don't think we really trust them either.
No.
Then I am going to treat it as a negotiation, and I will ask that the other Zodiacs do as well. But historically, myself and Taurus have been the merchants. So if we seem like we're putting on a hard line, that is why. Know that I will bend whatever I need to make peace, but I want to make sure that they will do the same.
All right.
So with that, where would you have me stay for the at least next hour or so while things get organized? Where would you like to walk for our conversation, Mister? And our meeting with Orzer, you said?
We can meet with him on the way back, if that's all right. There's just something I'd like to show you.
All right.
Something I would like your personal opinion on.
All right. The monarch kind of speaks up at this point. May I speak with those more familiar with me alone first?
Yes.
For everyone else, it would seem like no time passed at all. Don't worry. I just a little bit of clickety clackety.
Click, clack,
Sorry.
click.
Sorry.
That's okay. As you can imagine, I'd like to have a brief conversation with you folks to make sure I understand everything correctly and where things will be going here. May I?
Yes.
Alright, and you guys blink, and Leo is no longer in the stasis state as before. He's now just one of the frozen figures that you can see across the courtyard. So, This has been quite a bit. You kids always get into so much trouble, don't you?
We have a tendency.
We are sorry that you've been dragged into the middle of it.
That's all right, my little hatchlings. This is larger than just my cat. This is larger than just my castle. And you folks have been excellent for everyone here. So if concessions have to be made, concessions have to be made. I am still thankful that you have entered our lives. That being said, I would very much appreciate not being assassinated.
Prevent it, or try to. We'll
We
do
will
our
do all we can.
Okay. What does it take to assassinate you? Because they wouldn't be going that far if they weren't somewhat confident.
as you explain that as well. What will it take to bring you back, just in case?
My
If we can.
soul will immediately pass on to the next in line. I have a number of firebirds where they will become of the size that I am now as soon as I pass. Our souls, as a matter of principle, don't stick around. But
There's a fucking like mid-war moment where there's a dwarf just like kind of hiding, and there's a firebird on the train just kind of.
No, exactly. It is not an immediate process, but it's not a slow one either. That being said, what it takes to kill me is something more concerningly sophisticated, and unfortunately, I believe they have the capability of. As you know, I can pause time. That is a wonderful boon to keep myself safe. However, if a being entered onto this plane and this region that I have frozen, from a region that is already frozen in time, as the astral plane is said to be, they would likely be free to move outside of my control and free to attack me as wishes. I cannot freeze time further than it is. For them, no time is changing. That being said, that would require me to freeze time first.
So what does it take to kill you outside of frozen time?
Much the same as it takes to kill any of you. A spear, a blade to the heart, my head to be removed, my brain to be punctured somehow. I'm a creature. Simply a blessed one.
And how durable are you?
Relative to the average humanoid, more. But not a massive amount further than the average firebird. I have better defenses, but I'm not more resilient. Except to mental afflictions.
Not to say I would ever want to, but just for a point of comparison, if I were to take aim at you, how difficult do you think I would have?
If time was already frozen, I believe you would have not much difficulty at all, Ashta. You alone. I don't believe you would last long with the firebirds afterwards, as they would tear you limb to limb and incinerate every trace of you from here. But
if it's just you as my objective, and whoever is coming is going to leave afterwards.
I believe any individual of yours, any single one of you could do it on your own. I am wise. I am old. I know how to save myself. But what was important isn't me. It is the gift given to me by the Fane. And if that passes on without my body, that is all it needs to be. So, the only threat further than my physical existence is Ix. If they were to corrupt the Fane that give me my strength, this would be the end of the Monarchs. The end of most firebirds, in fact. If not all of them.
Would they be able to take the gift for themselves? Whoever brought them to you?
They would be able to make the next monarch to be something known as a Darkling. Not the fate that you're familiar with, but it's what we've always called them. Sort of the planar inverse of a dragon. If a devil could be a dragon, not like Tiamat. More like a gargoyle. Of obsidian, poison, of cunning and destruction. As I've explained to you before, the Ix are inversely powerful as whatever they corrupt. If I am corrupted, I am powerful. And what comes next will be equally so, but not as concerned with preservation of spirit. So the power may channel differently. At the very least, they may have my time abilities. So, if I have to be killed, I'm okay with that. But do not, under any circumstances, allow me to be corrupted.
Would I have a fighting chance with what I can do? If any of that started upon you? Or are you so insurmountable that any amount of time being corrupted would be too much?
I don't believe you could purify me, if that's what you're asking. It's possible. You all have done things I did not believe possible before. But I would never be the same. I'm certain the first thing they would do is destroy my brain on a neural level, such that if they were ever to leave it and make a host of something else unwillingly possess it, that I was no more dangerous to them as I was being dead. So, I will trust you all to do what you must. As for the Firebirds, I will have them protect me as best they can. If I am corrupted, destroy this island. I don't care what connections you have here. Destroy this island and every inhabitant on it. Don't try to save the forest. Don't try to save the plants, the trees. Don't try to negotiate with Ix. There is no binding them. There is no tricking them. As soon as they have any inkling of a thought, is that we exist faster than you can believe. If they even think that you plan to try to get one on over of them, they'll simply destroy you from the inside out as best they can, corrupt your fane what if you have them. Turn into a dark reflection of whatever power you may have. And that is far more dangerous than whatever loss of life might come from destroying the island.
On a more or less extreme, but still crushingly pragmatic route, if anything got close to you, such that I wasn't confident, you would be unharmed. Would your death at my hands be preferable?
If you could save my fane, such that they can be passed on, yes. The fane that exists within me is what must be saved, before anything else.
And if I were to kill you with Ix in the vicinity?
The fane would do their best to jump, as they always do. The Ix would probably try to jump with it, chase after it, on the plane of thoughts. But they would have to take the time to kill me first, so they would be slower. So if a Firebird is accessible, they would go to a Firebird. If not, I don't know. They may ask to jump into one of you, and I don't know what would happen to you if they did. It would save them, but I don't know what it would do to your mind, any of you. Or even all of you. It might be that your best chance to diffuse it between you all. Take a small modicum of it each. And then give it back once you return, and right whatever wrongs I'm sure you'll be chasing after.
If it's a necessary, not just to us. There's others on this island with that too.
None that I trust like I trust you. You have proven time and time again to be the... maybe not the most moral mortals that I've met, but the best that I've had the joy to work with. And so I trust you all to do as best you can. Of course I will settle for what I must. My fane will do what they must to survive. But if I were to have my way, I would trust you all. As a group. As ones who can work with each other.
We'll do what we can.
And I will be here. Shall I allow you to plan your day?
I guess so.
Alright. If I feel I'm in danger, I will freeze time with you folks with me. Understand this, as it is the only way my family will have a time to jump. Only you will be here to protect me. And you will be expected for as long as that time is frozen to ignore what happens outside that time frame. I cannot force you, but that is my wish to you, such that if the worst does occur, you all can act on it. I will ask no promises. I will ask no guarantees. But that is my plea.
We'll do the best that we can.
That is all I will ask. I trust you. Though you may not know it yet, you are all heroes in my eyes. Maybe someday I'll make maybe not a castle, but a small house for you all. Have one of the younger Firebirds be the princess, the secondary monarch there. It's an honor to all of you.
Foreshadowing.
It was meant to be a joke.
Like, it's lore now.
I think
It's
we're
lore.
I think we're happy here.
Of course.
It's at the very least a small sketch at the end of the chapter for Sabriel.
There we go. A little post note.
Mm-hmm.
So, I will inform you if I learn anything, and I ask you to do the same for me, as so long as it concerns my well-being.
Of course. If Orzer can think of anything, we will have him speak to you on it.
Well, I'll ask him when he is free on what he knows of time. Magic that can be superseded by it. I'm sure it will be a stimulating conversation for all of us. So, I leave you, my heroes, and as always, I'll be here, watching. And you all kind of drop back into your normal times. The monarch kind of goes back to the conversation with the rest of them, and no, please stop staring at our guests, archdruids, as I'm sure you would not like the same to be done to you. Please, let our hosts do what they must. And she kind of begins gathering the conversation back directed towards her.
Mark's fucking kindergarten teacher to the archdruids.
Or Orzo kind of goes to walk that way, and I'm sure one of you kind of gets his attention.
Yeah. I think Esther and Leo wanted to talk before finding Orzer. Rosalind's going to be busy decoding, so...
So who's going to go talk to Junior?
I shall go.
Yeah, come with.
I will give them the pot because I cannot do that right now.
Go in pairs.
All right.
I will hold it.
Rosalind
So
will
let's
sit down like at the corner of the garden where she's got a little table and chair set up, and she's going to start working on that so she's not far away from you guys. Okay.
Get the poor genius to help you.
I was going to say, Purvis, where are you going to
Hey.
be going for this?
Purvis,
Yeah.
have you ever tried to decode a linguistics puzzle?
No, but that sounds very.
You got a big
interesting.
brain on you.
Yeah.
Come here, I'll try to walk you through the basics, though this may
Yeah,
be anything
give it
but. I've no doubt that you will have no trouble not only keeping up, but perhaps even outstripping me.
Yeah.
All right. So, just to start there, let's have both Purvis with an intelligence, with basically a spellcasting check, like spellcasting attack. So that's
Okay.
intelligence plus proficiency for you, and Rosalind for charisma plus proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and each you make a roll. I'm going to take the average of your two rolls.
Oh no.
So
That
intelligence
was a
plus
bad
proficiency,
roll.
Could I just use like Arcana or Investigation since those are intelligence things?
Go for it.
Sure.
You could do Feign, Rosalind.
Could I pull Feign advantage from Ashta again, or no?
Yeah, like I said, I was only going to mention it later in session.
I rolled a
Um,
30.
Excellent! I rolled a 29 now!
You guys are confident you can get this done within half an hour. Yeah, between the two of you, you could easily get this done in half an hour.
Cracked
Basically,
neurons.
you basically hand firms a page, take a page for yourself, and just start right away.
Start just comparing notes between them. Okay, this is used here. This is almost the same thing over here, but it's a little bit different, so it might be linked.
So it denotes this. This denotes that.
Yep.
Yep, exactly. All right, and let me just have Sky and Devin. I'm just from my D20 see which character I'm gonna go for first.
Oh, bro, you calling me by my name fucking caught me off guard for a hot minute. I'm so sorry.
How about Sky go first because I need to go to the washroom.
Sure. So Esther, as you kind of take Leo along, and he kind of nods to you, and
I'll be right back.
shall we walk then? You can see he's putting on a bit more of a face for the archdruids around.
She'll kind of nod and just slowly start to lead him towards the lake.
And he follows, and he sees the beginnings of your project, and is this what you come to show me?
I need to know what her name was.
You speak of Aquarius?
I do. I don't believe it fitting just to put her title on something that is supposed to memorialize her forever.
No, of course. And I know from my brief messages with her that you were very important to her, and I don't know how to say it anymore. I am so sorry that she is gone.
And she puts a hand on his shoulder and just, I have no blame for you.
I know.
You
But
didn't.
many of us thought of her as the bright next generation of the Zodiacs. Ones who took functional roles, not war roles. Ones who cared about their citizens more than their plane. Seems we were not all of that opinion, and I should have seen that coming.
She loved her people.
She did.
And she loved her plane, and
She loved Libra,
She did.
and I don't know that I will forgive him for that.
I don't know if I can either. But what's important now isn't the forgiving of those who did her wrong. It's of honoring her as she was. Though she was isolated for many conflicts, I did my best to protect her. And I did love her. And now I will do as much as I can to honor her on this place, so that she might live in the memories of those forever, as one who strived for peace.
And as that who revealed the corruption of the Zodiacs at her own expense.
That she did. And she kind of rubs at her eye for a second, just... Are there any building materials particular to the plane of ice? Just anything she liked?
Bone.
An aesthetic, I suppose.
Bone. She was naturally a druid, and she had a affinity for the beings who were able to survive on a plane of ice, where there is no growth, nothing to feed on except other creatures. So bones. They were a symbol of life that could survive all difficulties. And when the life did pass, that it had a purpose, at least. It's as close as she had to a religious ideology, from what I know.
And I think I know exactly how to make her a statue. It'll be carved from bone.
Rather than a name, shall I give you what her men called her?
Anything.
Well, it's... From what I know, from her more familiar men and less formalized, they would jokingly call her the Ice Queen, but others would just call her Frosty. I think it was meant to be a pun.
Well, it suits her.
Her men will take this hard,
I know.
but I think they will do everything they can to avenge her. to make things better because of her.
When you open the portal to guide her men through, I wish to be there, to aid them in coming across to this side.
As you wish.
I know
I
they'll
just
be
need-
scared.
I just
Go
need
on.
your help to gather.
Of course. We'll talk to Junior. I'm sure I know Xenia has scenting spells, but I'm sure we can find others who have it as well.
They
We
were
will get-
messengers.
We will get word to them.
I just hope I can save as many of them as possible.
I do as well. There's one more thing as well that needs to be spoken. 13.
Yes,
How well do you know them?
I don't. The only zodiacs I know that had interaction with them was Libra and Aries. Possibly Pisces, as they were second in command, but if it was under the watch of one of the other two. As they were the senior members. Not counting Gemini, of course.
You're good with opening portals, yes?
It's my, it's the expertise that I find most enjoyable, yes.
During the peace talks, when there's a moment of downtime, would you mind teaching me?
It isn't a spell, if that's what you're asking. It's possible I can teach it to Rosalind, as I don't know how much our patrons relate. But as far as I know, it's something unique to me, and it would take time.
Your patron, as of current.
I have
Who
no
is
idea.
that?
I don't know.
Ah. Expect word from a very powerful goddess.
I will do so.
Mistra might be reaching out to you soon.
Is that your doing?
When I looked through the portal, all I saw was you in desperation and pain. And Did Mistra take the map?
She did, yes.
I gave up one of the only things Aquarius had ever given me to make sure that you got out of there alive.
Thank you. It's funny you picked Mistra.
She is the goddess of the weave, of magic. She
Oh,
was the
yes.
only one I could think of that would be able to even open a portal to get you out of there.
It's, well, we used to have a song that we used to sing when we forged as Azers, to keep on rhythm. And it was, I remember one of the lines was, something about Mistra, weaving metal like she wove the plains. Wove it together. Kept it safe. Rippling only to give those the strength they need. Bending only to protect. And to strike back. It's a fun song. I used to enjoy it. It'll be interesting if I get a chance to speak with her to see if she appreciates the music. Though it's better sung with a chorus.
You might have the chance to.
Hopefully I do. If only as a prayer of thanks for whatever role she played.
May I speak honestly for a moment?
Whatever that boy gave me is making me do so, so I would hope I'm getting the same.
I'm very glad you're alive.
I'm inclined to agree. And I am very glad you welcomed me onto your home, despite everything. Thank you for not just throwing away the idea of peace.
It's
I don't
what
know.
we're all fighting for.
I'm glad we can unite on something worthwhile for a change.
Speaking of that, when Aquarius was taken, her soul at least, there's part of her that is being preserved. Her memories. There is a god currently preserving them.
Well, then we'll have to do everything we can to get back the rest.
At least a piece of her is in some sort of stasis. Status. Stasis? Stasis? Stasis.
Stasis.
Thank you. Thank you. I forgot the word. I was like, train station. Beep beep. That's a car.
Don't hurt yourself.
Ah.
Not all little, like, clown car horns hitting each other at the same time.
Ooh, I'm mentally ill.
Naps. Goddamn.
I've had that stupid fucking TikTok stuck in my head for the whole day. Anyways, continuing on. Well, if there's anything you'd like added to her memorial, you let me know and it will be done.
Do you have access to a forge?
We have an army of dwarves. I think there's a forge somewhere.
Will they allow me into their forge? I would like to make a final gift, a send-off. It's a tradition.
I think the presence of an Azer in their forge will excite them to no end.
I'm sure the presence of a Zodiac will make them nervous, so it'll just be an interesting conversation.
Zodiac or not, you're welcome here. And if you're welcome here, that means you're welcome amongst my men.
Well, then, can I ask your assistance with it? Or should we go speak with that Orzo you told me of?
Allow me to introduce you to Orza first. Then we'll speak with Junior, get that sorted, and then I'll guide you to the dwarves.
Sounds alright to me. So, real fast, we'll switch to those speaking to Junior.
Key.
So, you guys enter into the pot. Kind of looks at you guys like, hey. So, any updates? What's going on?
There's some.
Was he? Sorry, I thought Thorn went in about something.
Yep. Thorn
Yeah,
went
no,
in.
he's asking for any other updates.
Okay, so he knows Aquarius is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can someone remind me what Thorn went in to say again? Sorry.
Basically, transmit the important information regarding that you guys and Leo spoke about.
The thing about Aquarius, the thing about the basically the civil war of the Zodiacs that's just begun, apparently. The need to get Aquarius's men out of that trouble, any trouble they might be in, and therefore the requirement of getting messages to them, gathering them, and we do have a way for them to get out. We just need advice, and maybe if he has any help he can give, who to contact, where, all of that. If there's anything he can do, then yeah.
Cool.
So, anything new that this dragon couldn't tell me, or?
Leo's gonna help open a portal at least to where you guys can get, where some people can sort of fuck.
We need you to collect up anyone who would be on our side with this stuff from Aquarius's
Okay.
men.
I need one thing, man. I need like 600 pounds of incense. and a room that you really don't mind smelling terrible for a week.
Dude, I have so many fucking barrels of incense. Wait!
We also
over-
have tower rooftops.
Yep. He tilts his head just. And why is that exactly?
We essentially have a small collection of celestial familiars that any of us can summon, and we can basically summon 4 others to send messages. That's how we communicate with each other. I'm just going to need to summon all of them. And that takes a lot of incense, but I can do it all at once. Just,
Okay.
it's going to...
We'll see if we can't get a simpler one, but I also do think we have a lot of incense.
Please, I can get started even if you're little. I can at least get people going and have them use their own resources as you gather things. Even just 10, you folks use gold pieces, right? Yes. 10 gold pieces worth.
Do you have that, Senia?
I do not. I don't. I actively used all the incense I had.
Is there any in the bag?
I'll check both
You
mine and the party.
You are of the Genasi gathering.
Yeah, guys, there's
I'm-
a lot of fucking incense.
Checking if there's some we can use instead of buying more.
I'm just checking
That's
for the moment right now.
Yeah, just letting you know, as if you don't need, just letting you know, you guys don't need to travel to get us.
Yeah, that's fine. It's literally just if we have any right this second.
Party loot doesn't. Let me double check Xenia's.
Does Rosalind have Starcast Worth?
Probably. Rosalind has tons of incense. We all do. At least those who have familiars do.
Thing is a no.
I will say, as toward Rosalind, you guys would have some as you both have familiars.
Yep. So if Ashta feigns, then Rosalind feigns back. It's in my bag.
Okay. Drop some in the pot.
She'll do so. Somewhat
Yep, it kind of like
distractedly.
sprinkles. It kind of just like drops down and like lands on the ground. He goes, "Oh, cool." Maybe you put a lid on the pot. Like I said, it's gonna not smell good, and it's gonna look like you're, bubble toilet troubling it.
If you want to do it on like some of the towers out, I just think Dasha can go out.
We've got the protections going. You'll be with me. Also, you gotta talk to a giant bird first.
What the fuck?
What?
Yeah, if I talk to a giant bird, that is quite alright.
My house. Give me a minute. The fire alarm is going off. So either something's on fire or we have an issue.
Well, damn.
Okay.
Well,
In the meantime, you're just gonna take Junior out and bring Junior out of the pot and just like put an arm around, like, hold on a second. Just fly him up.
Yep, he'll hold on, and you can do so. And he appears out there, and the Arshu would again look at you kind of strangely as you walk in with another person they've never seen before, but who is clearly of the plains.
Yep. And just introduce to the lady.
Yep, it's brief as
Bird
he,
lady.
the monarch. It's brief as he is definitely a man on a mission, but he does so. He does the correct formalities, and
House
he
ain't burning down.
okay, good. Yeah, and he waits for you to show him where he can begin, as he is anxious to do so.
Yep. And we can just bring him up to the like just to a roof and go and grab the incense all the way, or some more of it.
Yep, you guys can, over the course of how long it takes him to cast it, you can gather a lot of incense, and you have the money for it. So, yeah, you guys basically watch this over the course of an hour, which would be after you get the conversation with Orzer and the decoding. But for the sake of explaining, yeah, he basically summons like dozens of familiars of all different shapes and sizes to him, and then you watch as he makes a secondary ritual that's kind of like an inverse of the initial one, and sends them to somewhere. In the meantime, as you guys would have time to speak to Orzer probably first, and then the decoding would be finished.
Asher will also just like grab a truth serum from Purvis on the way
yeah, that's no problem.
and slap Junior with it. It's like, this is just a formality.
He's so not paying attention, he doesn't even care.
Yep. All right.
So, yeah, you guys were able to go to Orzer with Leo, and he kind of looks at you, and obviously you guys, I assume, pulled to a private room. And he goes, so this is the illustrious Leo?
Yes, this is Leo. Leo, this is Orzer.
They kind of nod to each other, and
Okay, I assume there's also a fan download about the whole Monarch thing, Torzer.
I'm assuming. Yeah. And he kind of nods, and alright, I can do what I can in a day to protect the Monarch. Suffice to say, time magic is, as the kids say, fucky wucky.
No, my fucking god, no!
You did bad fucky wucky, now you sleep in the forever box.
Chara's just muttering behind me.
What the fucking kids?
And he goes, I can do what I can. I can basically put wards on her to activate in the event of X and all that kind of stuff. She doesn't really move much, so it shouldn't be an issue, but yeah. Freezing time fucks with magic.
I was gonna say, what was the range of spells Esther got again?
All necromancy spells, she has quite a bit of other spells, and she's learned a few of them being done.
Sorry, was it literally like I'm trying to remember the levels for all of the PHP?
Every necromancy spell, every SRD spell, except for wish.
Okay, but all the level 9s.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we
It's
technically have a
scrolls for-
time stop scroll.
Yes.
All right, can we supply Orzer with that to help him with anything?
Yeah, if he
He
wants
kinda-
it.
Yeah, he kind of looks at it like, okay. Well, I gotta ask you now then. Can I
Lich.
get one of those? Can I get one of those potions that don't need that make me need less sleep?
Uh,
Because it's gonna take
Fergus,
me a while to learn this.
Yes.
she'll call over Fergus from across the courtyard. Just catnap potion, will you?
Yes. And he brews one up.
Go ahead and make. Actually, you have spare that you're making for Sam, so you're fine. Yeah, you can toss over that way, and he goes, "Oh, this is gonna be a long night, isn't it?"
Probably.
Oh,
Oh wait, is Samsir here?
No.
No.
I was
Samsir
gonna
is an
say-
Anther,
Samsir's keeping Anther
probably
together.
crying because the
Yes.
Duke has been gone much longer than anticipated.
yes, and
Samsir's
everything is
like,
fine.
Samsir's like, you fucking bitch!
But he goes, "I'll do what I can. But if she's relying on you guys to protect her, I'm gonna take my opportunity to protect the Archdruids and protect everyone in the peace meeting, make sure the meeting is able to complete. I'm just gonna do what I can in advance to help you guys out for the Monarch."
So we need. I'm not here.
Hey,
That's
you,
all we
you could be
need.
here. Yeah, you
Alright.
can be here if you want. Because if Rosalind's there, you're there anyways. So,
Yeah, fair enough.
but this is going to be a difficult day. I'll do what I can to protect against Ares in particular as well. See if I can make a ward to keep him from just waltzing in here.
I would advise that.
That being said, your guys' protections are pretty good so far. I'm actually kind of impressed.
Thank you.
Fane to also focus on protection against Bow because assassin number 1.
Yeah. Anything that you have that can detect shape change, detect any sort of invisibility.
I believe your guys' wards actually do that already. Hold on.
I don't know. That's why I'm double checking. I wasn't in charge of the wards.
Yep, I'm just going to check real fast.
'Cause I am.
Also, it's supposed to Rosalind could enchant something like that.
Mhm.
If she had time.
Yep.
Hold on, let me just. Sorry, I'm trying to remember which spell it was, because it was a cleric spell of that level, I think.
Do Azers have genders?
That's a. Technically, yes, but like kind of, but also not really.
I just.
They have sex, like they have sexes, but they don't have.
No, it's not that. I hate seeing some of the things on Google, man. Fucking
That's
gross.
fair.
I never needed to see that.
What fucking spell is that?
I'm assuming it's
What?
a Lady Azer and they paid
Mm.
particular attention to
Oh
the
yeah.
torso.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ugh.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So you guys have abilities that, for the most part, block ethereal travel, planar travel, dispelling magic. You have the ability to not be seen by divination spells. You basically have an antithesis spell, so that celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead can't enter unless you allow them. But it's a charisma save, and even if they succeed the save, it weakens them. That's one of those spells, and the other one is a wizard spell. I don't remember what that spell is called. It's like halls or something like that.
Guards and wards.
Guards and
Deck the
wards.
halls?
No, guards and wards. 6th level. There we go. Thank you. Corridors, doors, stairs, other spell effects.
That one is relatively limited, if I recall correctly, in terms of area it can affect.
Yes, but because you have multiple people casting it per day in multiple areas of the castle, it's basically being
Okay.
combined.
Okay.
Yeah. You can create illusory objects or make things appear invisible. You can't ignore invisibility. Gotcha. But regardless of invisibility, creatures can't enter without a password, unless or be affected by all of these things, or be like being allowed by one of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he will set something up for invisibility. It's not as easy to do, but he can basically set a see invisibility spell to be, or like a dispel magic on an invisible creature, as a symbol on the ground, like a ward.
Mm.
And it'd be a small radius, but it could be all around the monarch. You can do it multiple times.
It's better than what we had before.
Also, fairy fire. He can get a couple fairy fires prepped.
Ooh, that would be a good one too.
Yep. All right. So he sets about doing that as well as learning the new spells. You can tell it's going to take him some time. But with that, you would have the decoded message done.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the short version, as it is like 6 or 7 pages of information. Essentially, it outlines his previous plans and the plans he initially had going forward. His previous plan was to basically get the volcanic core to set an eruption as his initial way to set off the fight. But Eric seemed to have stopped it, and in doing so, prevented that part, so he had to readjust. He had to go after the legal battle. He had to go after trying to trick Libra. He had to try to go about basically slowly changing laws on the direction of both himself and Ophiuchus to make it more that he has more power than just what Libra tells me has. That being said, it seems like he didn't have enough time to get all of them done. As I will just say straight out, that was an effect of the speed that you guys got the talks prepped. There were further plans for him to basically get access to, not kill, but like re-elect Zodiacs after their initial one had been killed, no matter how they had been killed. And that was what he was slowly working towards, basically trying to keep it so that after Aquarius was handled, it could be that he could basically have any of them killed and then have them replaced with whoever he wanted. But he didn't have the time to do so. So instead, it's basically transitioning to Plan C, which is if the peace talks still gather, if the Archdruids gather there, he wants to make it seem like the Zodiacs betrayed them and tried to kill them. And in doing so, he's relying on Ophiuchus to do something else to get at you guys, so that you guys can't assist the Archdruids. It seems they've settled on the Monarch as this, on the advice of Bo.
I hate Bo, man. That dumb bitch.
As well. It also seems like a scroll was mentioned. You can make your assumptions on what that is. But it's been used as a threat against Ares. A veiled one, saying that I have the scroll, so make sure that you basically keep in line, kind of thing.
Oh.
And if you betray me, I'll just use it, and I don't need you anymore. Good luck fighting a civil war if that happens.
See, that's curious. That's very interesting.
That's the important information on it.
Okay. Alright. The whole group knows about this.
Yep. So, anything last minute you guys would want to do before your long rest?
Has Leo met Jade?
Not unless you let him.
I don't remember.
I believe he'd seen Jade at the gathering. That's it.
Well, that depends. We'll see what happens. It just depends if anybody's got anything else to do.
Yep. Because if not, I think I'm good to end the session there if you guys are. As you guys will be settling into bed for your long rest, and we can make those rolls and we can move forward.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that, as you guys kind of settle in, Esther, if you want to briefly introduce Leo and Jade, you may.
Mm-hmm.
She seems interested by him. He's Naser, which she's not used to, and he warns that if she's not immune to fire, that touching him is very dangerous for her.
He's resistant, I believe, but not immune, so she can get close, but not actually touch.
Basically. And she does so, and they seem to have like a brief conversation as he's trying to decipher what he initially thinks is baby talk, and then realizes it's absolutely not baby talk. It's mildly domestic in the gravity of everything that's happened.
I
But
just
it's
thought it'd be fucking funny.
But after they meet, Gareel kind of just goes, "Can I go ask him like 3 million questions about Azers?"
Oh, please do.
Okay, good. I'll promise I'll get some sleep because the only chicken runs out and he goes to have a conversation with Leo.
Yeah, I'm not gonna see him for another, like, 8 hours. He's gone.
With that,
Actual thought. Do we still have those Azers that we picked up from Sagittarius's army somewhere? Because I think there was talk about getting them into the Plane of Fire, into Leo's care, but we never actually managed to do so.
I believe it
yeah.
was taken care of by someone. I don't remember who.
I thought they were on the island or something, but I couldn't remember.
I thought they were still on the island.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm gonna be honest,
maybe we
I
did put them in someone's care. I can't remember. But if they're still on the island,
We'll worry about that next session. How about that?
yeah, Leo can
Let me know if you
on
can
them.
find that note.
Okay.
So, with that, as you guys all settle into your long rest, I'll say right now, you guys aren't going to have any interruptions. So you can each mark your long rest, and I will leave it there for tonight as the day of the peace talk looms ahead. And as just before you guys go to bed, Leo basically tells you that at your guys' permission, he can summon the portal, and whatever of Aquarius' men want to come through, they can. But it seems most of them have already taken up position with the allied Zodiacs to work with them and act as messengers and kind of keep track and inform the Zodiacs so there's no other miscommunications like there were before.
Mm-hmm.
Esther
But
still
we
wants to be there to whoever comes through.
Yep, and he opens it, and a couple of them come through, as well as an ice bear.
Oh, honey, no. The fucking bear! No!
And he kind of just looks around and just kind of generally looks lost.
Esther's gonna go up to the bear and try to hug, just hold out the hand.
Yep. He seems to take it. He's being cared for by a lot of the other men of Aquarius.
Yep.
There we go.
Asha walks up as well with Ranger speak.
Yep, he kind of looks at it and good.
I just want to roll mom to give it a hug.
You give it a hug, and he doesn't seem to not accept it, although he seems distrusting of you at first.
Yeah. Asha's just going to be like, sorry. I know you probably don't have the best memory of me.
Yep. And I take it that you're going to explain what happened.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The bear, for its credit, takes it in a way that's almost human-like in its maturity. But it's not able to hide its sadness like humans might be able to. It seems to accept it and kind of brush up against Junior when he sees him and just kind of put his head in Junior's lap and then just whine a little bit, and you probably see tears between the two of them.
Does Asha know what... Could Asha do an animal handling check to recommend something for Xenia to cook for the bear?
Go for it. You can do it with advantage. It sounds like your kind of thing.
Give him everything.
Elemental, so
12.
you know enough fish, as many fish as you can get. He likes fish, frozen.
He deserves the world. Give him everything.
There's just a quick ping to Xenia. It's like, get this boy some salmon.
Yep.
This boy.
And so with that, I'm not sure if Ty's here because they're muted. But we will leave it there for tonight.
Okay.
All right.
Well, until next
Until
time.
next time.
Well, next time.